Greetings and welcome to a holiday themed. I mean, you know, I know you may see Guthin the Infested in the background, but think of him as Guthin the Infestive, and that's the best I have for you.
Is he wearing his Christmas hat?
Not even. I could have put a little Christmas hat on him, I suppose. Is there gonna be another show before Christmas? Yes. Okay, cool. I still have a chance to salvage this. Although next Friday, the 22nd, I actually have a doctor's appointment. I may not be able to do the show in the morning. We may have to bump the show to like Thursday or something that week, or Saturday, depending. I don't know people's schedules, but figure that out.
Work it out.
Yeah, I have to see when that appointment even is. I don't. If it's in the afternoon, it's not a problem. If it's in the morning, it's a problem, obviously. Anyway, hi, welcome. We're live. We're doing a show. We have a long show for you today, but a good show nonetheless. So I'm excited for that. We're getting down to some funky RuneScape music. This is like a remix, or not a remix, but like a reimagining of the old RuneScape Christmas theme from like the old RuneScape Classic. Not RuneScape Classic, but you know, classic to me, but not really classic, but old school days kind of. Like, this is good stuff. I'm gonna try to not lose my voice. No promises.
Old school when it was the real game, not sort of a spin-off.
Yeah, like
game.
Back when we used to have, you know, like music in the client was like a novelty, and like most people turned it off because it lagged the client a million degrees unless you had a really good computer. But yeah, we got a good show. Obviously, we're going to talk about the G-Gnome Project and all that stuff, but we also going to talk about the mining and smithing rework. We just got hot off the mics from an hour-long pre-show, where I went and tried out Living Wyverns for the first time with no Wormfire. That was interesting. We also had a good chat about lots of other stuff as well, about an hour long. So if you want to check it out, patreon.com/RuneScape. You can pledge anything at all. I think $1 is the minimum, but at least $1, and you get access to that pre-show once it goes up. It will go up once this stream goes down. So yeah, if you want to support the show as well as get bonus pre-shows, patreon.com/RuneScape is the place to go. But yeah, we got a really good show. I'm still like opening all the tabs here. We have a listener question. We haven't had one of those in a while, mainly because we stopped advertising that we do it. But we do it. What's going on, Fatty? How you doing? Welcome. Yeah, so this question will be from Ryan. That's going to be like mid-show there, right after the ban for swapping gold. So many topics. Let's see here. So we're going to do his question right after Mod Bino's post in there. So Ryan's question. Okay. Just making a note for myself there. All right. I think everything's all set. Anything anyone wants to bring up before I begin the show? Are we good? Have I forgotten anything?
I just put my link into the patch notes if you want to do it. It's only a really short one this week. So.
Yeah, are there notes there that you think people couldn't just go to your channel this time for the length? Or
yeah, I mean, it's really short. I've also put a link in Discord, so there wasn't a whole lot that was interesting this week. So yeah, you could probably just skip that one.
If there's nothing, if it doesn't have a super long length and there's something super interesting, I would just say if you want to see the patch notes, give Pyrnassius' channel a watch, you know, without ad blocker, of course. That way you give him a few cents, you know. And we'll hopefully have more patch notes next week, or probably not. Actually, it probably won't have any good patch notes again until January, right? But
yeah,
what can
I
you
think
do?
It's just all sort of the Christmas stuff at the moment, which is fine. I mean, you know, you don't have to have big patches every week unless it's something, you know, just little incidentals can always wait.
Anyway, let us get into the show right as this music is going to loop around here. As soon as this music loops around, I will start to... Here we go. All right, 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Runescape Weekly for 12/15/2017. I'm your host Magebit with 16 years of Runescape experience. Joining me today is Pyrnassius and DX the LB. And on today's show, the G-Gnome Project, Mining and Smithing Rework Showcase, Pyrns Patch Notes, Pyrns Arc Quest, Skilling Pet Chances, Sky News giving loot boxes some attention, first Runescape Experiences from a 15-year vet. This is what an impulsive personality looks like. Faster XP servers. Scammers get defensive when you call them out. Bond pouch question. Banned for swapping gold. A listener question. Server submerge. JAGEX, what the problem? Accused of using third-party software. Skilling pets are available from the Xmas event. Well, I guess we don't need the article now after that, huh? More player mods needed. A Java 1.7 client. Multi-logging. Combat rework. Advent calendar problem. And authenticator. Thank you for tuning into this edition of RuneScape Weekly. And enjoy the show. Welcome back for your Friday edition of RuneScape Weekly. Magebit here. First of all, I just have to say, like, the fact that the music looped around right when I wanted to start the show was absolutely Guthix ordained. That shit is, you can't do that without the power of God juice, really. That's how you do it. Raw concentrated Guthix juice. Anyway.
Anima spilling out of your speakers.
Ah, it's so good. Listen to that. I honestly, I forgot that I was listening to the RuneScape theme song still because it feels so natural in my brain to just let this play over and over again. I just bumped the microphone. I apologize. I'm getting like I could feel the Holy Ghost coming all up inside me. Oh wait, never mind. Bad thoughts. All right. So,
it's usually Pyrnassius for myself that's supposed to be speaking like that after.
Yeah, I have to learn to retrain myself after the pre-show, though the Patreon pre-show, has ended. I have to calibrate, adjust, bring it back in, reel it in, Magebit. You're all right.
That's why I left that one alone. Then it's not pre-show anymore.
It isn't. Anyway, I was gonna make another joke that it was not acceptable, so I'm gonna stop myself right there and welcome DX to the show. How you doing, DX? Welcome back. How's things? How's the lights?
Yeah, the lights. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. We've been doing a Christmas light show up here where I live for the last few years, and the crowds keep getting bigger and bigger every time they come around here. It's great. It's been very overwhelming tonight. We got the light shows on the roof and also a Christmas tree light show itself to go along with the music.
That's really cool.
And also we got like a fake snow machine which actually worked tonight, so it was great fun to use.
You don't see that type of stuff around here, like in the city, as much. You see it out in the rural areas, but you don't see that stuff in the city. And I miss that stuff. That is so cool.
Surprisingly enough, that's actually very common out here. Not really the snow machine, but
yeah,
the Christmas light show, man. We go all the time out here in this area.
It's awesome. That is awesome. Let me close this extra RuneScape client I opened up for that music here real quick. No!
You're right, it has been a while. I haven't been on for a little while.
It was almost perfect. What?
You're right, I haven't been on for a little while. You're right.
Yeah, you were babysitting last episode, I think. Or something.
Was I?
I don't who knows? We'll just say that. And we got Pyrnassius back with us as well. How you doing, Pern?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. I was just talking about those Christmas lights. They do the same thing out in my area as well, but I'm like the Grinch and say, turn the frickin' things off because they are blocking up the roads. Trying to get down to the shops the other day, which is like a 3-minute drive. All the cars parked everywhere and trying to get around. It took me about 15 minutes.
If you want to be a true Grinch, you come around at like 2 o'clock in the morning with a paintball gun and just like shoot out all the lights. That's how you be a true.
I mean, they do look beautiful.
Meta tier. Oh yeah, I love.
Gonna take the kids for a walk down there. Christmas Eve, we'll just go for a walk around the streets and have a look at them all.
It's the one thing that keeps me like semi-sane in the wintertime is like when the sun goes down at 4 o'clock in the freaking afternoon, and like then all of a sudden all the houses just illuminate with these, you know, light displays. Like you don't see that as much in my area as I did when I was a kid, but holy crap, I would love I would just love the light shows that you'd get to see, just that people would put up on their houses, and you don't get that anymore in the city. And
well, the problem here, because it's summer here, and like where I live, the sun doesn't go down till like 9:30, so you're out at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night looking at them all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but, you know, when parents got to bring out their little, because, you know, it's all the little kids love it. And, you know, you see these little sort of 5 and 6 year olds half asleep being dragged along to look at these
It's
lights.
got to be so. I mean, you've lived all your life like this, but for someone who's lived all their life in the complete opposite, it's got to be so, it would be so trippy for someone like myself to experience a Christmas with like 80-degree heat and the sun staying out until like 10 o'clock at night. Like, that would just be wild to me. I want to do that someday. That would be great.
The bucket list items is spending a Christmas in New York, just to walk through New York City, the square and all that type of stuff.
If you ever do that, let me know, because I would totally go up to New York. Because I would love to, as much as I don't like the city, I would love to see New York at Christmas time. It's a pretty place. Anyway, Speaking of Christmas, it's in like 2 weeks, and
right segue.
there's an event. But before we talk about that, I'll just quickly mention that I personally got 120 fletching last week. Was it last?
Oh yes, congratulations! I did forget about that one.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty forgettable skill, to be honest with you. I'm glad to be done with it.
Best skill in the game.
Yeah, now I moved along.
Dungeoneering.
I've moved along to Slayer, as was demonstrated in the pre-show. I'm having a mixed experience so far. Like, there's some tasks that are really fun to do, and there are other tasks that all right. I've rage quit the game, and I use the term rage quit loosely, not like throw stuff across the room and screaming and swearing, but just like, you know, X-logged out of the game in frustration about 3 times a day one. Which is not bad for me, you know. I managed to come back to the game generally within 10-15 minutes. But there are certain tasks that I'm just like, this is not happening, and there are other tasks where I'm like, I can get better at this, and there are some tasks that I absolutely actually enjoy. Really liked the Aviancy task. Really like the Edamu task. Like Abbey Demons, obviously. Like all the tasks you expect me to like, I like pretty much, except for Nihils. And I think I just need to get better at knowing which ones do what. And
have you had Muspas yet?
No, haven't had Muspas yet. Haven't had Rune Dragons yet.
They're 2 good tasks.
I've heard a lot of people will prefer Muspas.
Yes,
like put them on the prefer list. Why? What's so good about them? Are they good money, or are they just AFK? Great XP.
Great XP, and pretty much AFK if you got the right gear on and, you know, you're using your soul split correctly.
One of the major things that I was having issues with Nihils was the pet pathing. It was just, your pet can't reach this, your pet can't reach this, your pet can't reach this. And so I'm like, I'm killing them and not picking up any of the damn drops. I'm like, you know, it was getting a little frustrating, mainly because I was trying to AFK them.
They're 6 mil an hour if you pick up the drops properly. Basically, the way I did it, I just go to a corner, and because they'd run to a corner and stop, and you pick your 2 you like, and as we were saying earlier, there's the smoke and the ice ones. You leave not the smoke, the shadow.
Yeah, shadow and ice, and you leave
Brains,
the other 2 alone.
Yeah, smoke and blood you leave alone, and just do the other 2 and just sort of go between them. And because you've got them in the corner, you don't have sort of as bad an issue with that pet pathing.
Yeah.
Really needs to be looked at in the game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It was very frustrating because I was losing a lot of drops because I was trying to AFK them. Like, for instance, right now, like, I'm playing the game, but I am doing smithing because I don't find Slayer to be AFK enough. So I am doing something else while I'm doing the show.
Unless you get something like Dark Beast.
Yeah, but the thing about that, but the Dark Beast task is over in 20 minutes.
I know. It's like, it is the best task.
That's the problem, right? Like, this show is going to be 2-3 hours long. a 20-minute Dark Beast task is gonna disrupt the show. Whereas with smithing, I can sit here with these. I have like 6,000 protein bars, and I can just.
Oh man.
I can just
smash them out.
Yeah, I can just AFK these. Don't even need to bank. It's a
shame you can't get the pets from the Proteons.
Yeah, I don't even care. I'm just like, and I mean, even though I've found a method to make smithing profitable and with decent XP per hours that I'm gonna use coming up. So really during shows and stuff. So like I'm gonna have an alternate to Slayer. I'm gonna try to do at least 6 hours of Slayer a day, and then the rest I'm gonna probably devote to smithing. Obviously, those are like top tier numbers. Those aren't going to be like, it's impossible to say I'm going to do that 7 days a week. But like that like if I am going hard on RuneScape, it's probably going to be like 60% Slayer, maybe even and like 40% something else, which is right now probably going to be smithing.
Because you're not going to burn yourself out. Because
it's frustrating because a lot of these tasks are only like 120k an hour. It's just going to take me like friggin' 8 months. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. But that's it. I mean, just
want it to be over.
If you are doing a bit, just have your auto loads set up for the different tasks, and just
that's the other thing.
Go to that bang bang bang.
I need to like drop some. I haven't got a gargoyle task yet. No. I've heard that's a pretty popular one for aggro potions.
Quite frequently is Slayer task. I think I've even got one in my own player-owned Slayer dungeon.
I've been here's how day one went. I started with like 20 Slayer VIP tickets, so I did Edemus like every task day one pretty much because it was always a choice. It was like, do you want Edemus or do you want this other shitty task that you're not sure about? Like, yeah, I'll take the Edemus, thank you. But now that I'm like day 3 or something, I'm trying to be a little more like only using a Slayer VIP ticket if it's an option that I know I'm gonna skip with Slayer points. Is basically what I'm doing now. So like I took.
Can't you get the Slayer VIP tokens from doing Cabbage Face Bunch Bonanza?
You can, yeah. And that's actually something that I've thought about. You can actually get them from doing any mini game because they're in the Thaler shop, but specifically, yes, from CFB. Right. Although
and when you do the Menaphos, the little citizen quests that you get down there, you have a chance of getting rewards of a couple of VIP slates.
Was it Thieves or something who was saying he's done like 80 or something city quests to stock up on Slayer VIPs? Like it's that madman.
He's done the 200. 200's one of the trim. Oh, I don't think it's a trimmed comp requirement, but it is okay. So yeah, he's done his 200. I'm on 130 at the moment. I haven't done any in ages, actually.
I have never done one, and I probably never will. I mean, maybe I will someday. Just anyway, let's get into the Christmas spirit here, shall we? And talk about the G-Gnome Project, which I think Pyrn is the only one here who's actually done the G-Gnome Project, so feel free to touch upon it. I'm not concerned about spoilers, but the G-Gnome Project, Santa Claus is coming to town, or at least he would be if anyone could find him. That's where you come in. I feel like Santa's missing every year in RuneScape. Introducing this year's Christmas quest, the G-Gnome Project. Remember those pieces of disassembled clockwork gnome you were gathering up in November? Now that Santa's favorite toy is back in one piece, Big Beard's decided to give him the best gift of all, the gift of life, and turn him into a real boy. That's like a curse, if you ask me. That's where the things went awry. Something to do with the Queen Black Dragon and just a pinch of flawed advice. Head over to Varrock and chat to the Queen of Snow. She can fill you in on the details. Long story short...
life and turn him into a real boy. That's totally not copywritten by Disney.
I don't think Disney owns Pinocchio. I think that
was a Disney movie.
Disney movie. It's a fairy tale,
Disney
though.
Movie. Yeah, it's a fairy. It wasn't written by them.
Correct.
Okay.
And the thing is, I mean, they're not using yes, but you're building this. It's not a little puppet that's made out of wooden things. But first things first on this one. Santa goes missing every single year. I mean, Mrs. Claus just needs to hide that hash stash somewhere so he can't get in.
I'm telling you, just
the other thing about
get him an iPhone and use the share my location feature.
I mean,
Santa got high on Christmas time. Sorry,
he wants to make this gnome into a real boy,
puffing on that mistletoe.
He's married to the Snow Queen. He is batting above average being married to that. I mean, you don't need to be making puppets. You've got her there with you. Proper way. So it was a fun little quest. It's not your traditional Christmas quest. You know, it's not really. It's very loosely based around Christmas, obviously, with just the characters. But I found it quite fun. You know, running off to the Queen Black Dragon, saving Santa. I love the rewards you get out of it. The little pet Rudolph. I'm not going to ruin it, but you know how you get that was I thought was really well done. Really interesting the way they tied that into the game. So I recommend everyone. You know, it takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but it is really, really fun. Go do it.
Yeah. Heck
what do you think, Mage? Next time you do a chill skill live stream, man, we ought to do that quest together.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that on Sunday for sure. Minigame. Let's see, long story short, Gillinor needs an adventure. Will you save Christmas? Dun dun dun. All right, anyway. Minigames winter weekend. So this is actually kind of what I want to do after the show today, if I can muster the energy to like put aside my hatred of stupid activities, stupid pointless activities, stupid pointless dumb activities that
like
block the
world.
best cape. Freaking anyway. It's almost time for the third winter weekend minigames. Get in-game between midday game time on the 15th until midday on the 18th for the following boosts. And it's midday, excuse me. Mid-gay is something else. Plus Castle War, plus one Castle. Wow, I can't talk anymore. Plus one Castle Wars gold ticket per game, regardless of win, lose, or draw. Plus one medal from Fish Finlingers per game. I just leveled up my smithing to 102. Double commendation points from Pest Control, thank you. And Conquest. Double bonus XP and rewards from Barbarian Assault.
Did you say ComQuest?
I might have said Comp. You know what? CompQuest is something else as well. Bosses killed in Dominion Tower are counted twice for the purposes of reward unlocks. That's probably what I really should be doing is Dom Tower. Plus 50% Dominion factor earned, plus 50% points at Livid Farm, which also stacks with boosters. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They slash it in half
from 5,000 miles away.
They slash.
It doesn't bother me, but because I enjoyed Livid Farm.
The comp cape, the comp cape is eroding. It's just eroding all of the difficulty away.
I had fun doing it, so it doesn't bother me.
Plus 50% produce points. So that's 50% bonus produce points on top of the half produce points that are now required from the original. So like, what is how long? What is it like? They're like
60 hours.
That's still 60 hours?
No, it used to be 60
Used to be 60 hours.
30.
Then it's 30. Then it's like... So it's probably about 15.
No.
Right?
Hey, you guys, I was on the floor laughing my head off at Livid Farm. Yeah, because I'd already had like 500,000 bloody Livid Farm points, and when they decided to update it, like make it half the amount needed.
Why did you have so many?
I spent my time over there.
Why?
That's what I always did.
Why? I'm just curious why. Like, what drew you to Livid Farm to do that in the first place? I mean, were you comping? Were you going for comp, or do you like Livid Farm, or like, what's your angle?
I think at the time I didn't have 99 in any of the skills up there. Like I think it was farming. What is it? Crafting.
It's back in the day when it was like a legit training method. Back in
yeah, and also you were training magic as well while doing it all. At the same time. You know, that might be a good place to go if you want to try and go for the skilling pad.
Oh well, can you get the pet from there?
Multiple skills.
I don't think you can get the farming pet from there.
I'm not 100% sure about that.
I'm pretty sure it was. They said no when someone had asked on that. The reason I did it is because lock for the teleport straight to the Trollheim herb patch, which was the final reward. And I didn't mind. I actually enjoyed it. So I actually did it before any of these nerfs happened. And that's in the. They said, okay, we're going to halve it. We're going to refund all your points. Fantastic. I've got I've got about 500k points down there, sitting there now. Wonderful, but they've got no rewards to spend them on, and that's why I said, give us the ability to either purchase the knowledge to make our own tally tabs to the farming patch, so I can just make a whole bunch of those and not have to just sort of swap magic books every time I do a farming run, or at least allow us to use those points to buy tally tabs there.
Can't you use your amulet of farming to
not to
set it
teleport,
to the
I
herb
don't
patch?
think.
So the herb patch
That's
teleport requires a lunar spellbook still, huh?
Yep.
Which
is fine now. With the magic cape, you just stand at the bank and swap your spell book. It takes like 5 seconds to do, but it's still, it's the thing is, if you've done that and you go back, you do a Slayer task of ranging, and then you get a mage one, and you go off there and you go, oh, I can't hit anything because I'm on Lunar. You go back to the
I'm not feeling that. Yeah. I'm not feeling that though. I don't want to.
I think using those to unlock the ability to make teletabs.
Isn't there an item that spellbook swaps that Invention made or something? Or
but yeah,
that book switcher, isn't it?
Yeah.
The book switcher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it? It's
still something else you have to remember. If you don't take that with you,
nah, I'm not. This is making me want to do Livid Farmland because that's like the only thing I wanted was the Trollheim teleport. But if I need to be on the Lunar Spellbook to use it, that really kind of makes me think about the situation a little bit more. Anyway, let me continue on here.
I hope somebody isolated the mage grunts.
Plus 50% Produce points at Livid Farm. An extra 600 daily bonus points in Cabbage Face Punch Bonanza. 100% increased Menopause reputation from Shifting Tombs.
That's where I've been for the last couple of weeks, actually, the Shifting Tombs. You get a lot, heaps. I got what's that 50% more reputation from Shifting Tombs last week, and now it's 100% this week.
Wow, just stay in those tombs, man. Double Zeal from Soul Wars. That's exciting for a lot of old people who like Soul Wars. That didn't come out right. I don't mean it like an ageist comment. I just meant like veteran players to the game. Yeah. Shattered Worlds grants 50% extra anima, double points from Stealing Creation, one of my personally favorite minigames that I just don't play anymore, but love Stealing Creation. Used to love Stealing Creation, I suppose. And of course, more Winter Weekends to come, and the player-owned ports. Winter Weekend that's running all month is also occurring there for you as well. Anyway.
This one with those, I think it's the Clue Scroll one, is actually on Christmas weekend.
No, it's in January.
Not really.
Is
it? I thought it was. No, I thought that was
January,
Christmas weekend.
You can click the link right there and find out.
Yeah.
I already closed it though.
Yeah. I thought it was actually on Christmas weekend, the Clue one, which is it doesn't bother me, but let's have a look.
Nope, it's on the 29th to the 1st.
So there you go. So I forget what I was going to say.
And as I predicted, I'd be 120 fletching before the Artisan Weekend, so what can you do? Let's see here. We have the Mining and Smithing Rework Showcase document that was aired yesterday. Again, I'm Sudi created this, so thank you for creating the document for us to go over. I really enjoyed the Mining and Smithing document and how it has been, kind of brought into the game so far. I think that they are doing a fairly good job for most of it. There are some points of contention, of course, and we'll go through those as well and see if we can have any impact on them. Anyway, so they opened up with basically saying that it doesn't make sense for them to make the level 120 because there are no level 120 combat skills. If in the future combat skills become 120, then Mining and Smithing would have a reason to go to 120. Yeah. That's just not a good argument. And I kind of stole the thunder in the pre-show, Pern, so I'll let you take it in the main show if you'd like.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no, I was really, really frustrated to hear them say this. I think they're just thinking way too linear. You don't have to have armor and weapons from 100 to 120. You just need add-ons, perks that smithers can make to sell to PVMers that gives them certain boosts in things. They did it with Invention, where you could, between 100 and 120, you've just got little unlocks that you can do. They should have done exactly the same thing here. Way too linear thinking, and it really, I love all the mods over there, but if that is all they're thinking, I really worry about their creativity.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that this wasn't just like a way to basically say, like, we got enough on our plates. We're not doing this to 120. Like, that's how they should have approached it. Been like, listen, 120 is just, we can't. But when
they just said it's too much work, but in the future we're going to do it this way.
Yeah, like, that I can understand. The fact that they're like, it doesn't make sense. You can't make anything but armor with a smithing skill. Like, that's just kind of that. Come on, don't be. You're game designers. You're supposed to be creative individuals. You know, if I can come up with a handful of ideas off the top of my skull, then you should be able to, as someone who is literally paid to sit around a table and talk about these types of things and come up with creative ideas. I can't believe that is the real reason why we're not seeing 120, especially in smithing. Like, mining, I get it. There's, only so much ore that you really need. But smithing, I think, really has an opportunity to go to 120, and they're missing out big time. And I think this comes down more to the fact that they don't want to be like, oh, don't worry, batch 2 is when we'll get to 120. Because that's what happened to Invention. And if they do that again, they're going to look like...
the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it the other way around. In Invention, they promised us, and then they didn't do it. In this, they said, no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah,
but then in the future, hopefully, they'll...
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I guarantee you that in the next 5 years, we will have 120 in most skilling skills. If not that, we will have a repeatable system that offers skilling bonuses, as well as ways to make money, but less so in the, you don't make as much XP. I really think we're going to win that front. And I'll tell you why later, because there's some really interesting changes that they're going to make here that the chat was really kind of against. It's like there was definitely some pushback from a lot of players of certain types. I won't name any, I won't label anyone individually, but like they're like, no, we're not budging. We're not budging on that. It's happening. You're just gonna have to live your life like that.
Exactly. And that's
what needs to happen.
20 mining, and they said no. I thought, wow, why am I going to bother watching this? But then when they were when they moved on to other things and they were standing their ground and saying, well, no, this has to happen this way because of this, I thought, well done. Actually, finally thinking about your skillers for once. And
having some faith in some ideas that you've created. Like, actually backing up what you want to do and not, like, the second someone challenges to be like, oh, no, you're right, we won't do it. Like, actually, like, backing up your own ideas is bravo, good. I think a lot of these ideas are good, and it's just a shame to see them to be, like, shot down by, like, a vocal minority, and then, oh, no, we can't have that because this group of players won't let it. But that wasn't the case. And I'm happy to see that. But anyway, they want to remove ores, bars, and smithed gear from drop tables and replace those with drops of equivalent value. So they want to preserve the value of PVM drop tables by doing that, which I think is a good compromise. It's a slippery slope to some degree. You have to be careful of, like, there's a line, and I think they know that because they mentioned that it's like, yeah, no, the PVMers, people who do combat for money, are going to take a minor loss here, but overall it's not going to be significant. It's going to be, if anything, pretty much on par with what there is now. You just have to be careful. Again, they were saying, like, we understand that we can't take out one thing and substitute in this other thing, because then that item will crash. Like, they've thought about that, and I think that's important.
One thing to point out there, I mean, over the past 5 years, we have had huge creeps for money making and such in PVM, and it has been detrimental to the skilling. The skillers have lost dramatically over the last 5 years, while they have gained. Now, they're not going to be losing that much. Yes, they're going to they're going to cop a little bit of a hit, but not to the degree that skilling has over the last 5 years. So,
in comparison,
that their feet in was really good.
Yeah, in comparison, this is going to be minor compared to what skillers have had to deal with. But on the flip side, there's a reason why so much was poured into combat, and I think,
of course,
there's
they had to save it.
Yeah, to bring RuneScape to where it is right now. Yeah, combat had to take the floor for a while, but now the combat's kind of up to where it needs to be. It's time to give love to the rest of the game as well. Anyway. Let's see here. So this means the spring cleaner will not be very useful for mining and smithing anymore, which is obviously the primary reason for it. That's pretty much what people use it for. Since it won't have anything really to dismantle because they won't exist. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, money on Treasure Hunter to get that type of thing and such. I think he said, oh, well, we're not going to worry about it. If it happens, it happens. Type of thing. But I think it is something. It's something you sold.
Yeah, if it's a premium item
to win that.
Yeah.
So you do really need to. I never.
You got to find a new use for it.
Until about 2 months ago. That's right. Find a new use for it. I use it down at Spiritual Mages. It breaks down my battle stars and that, which is quite good.
What does it break them down into?
It breaks it down into an orb, a couple of runes, and the actual battle star.
I have to learn more about the spring cleaner. I have one, and I'm using it, but I don't understand how it works. So I'll have to figure that out.
I made a ton of springs with invention because that was one of the invention perks as well. Make these tight springs.
Yeah.
So you're killing a couple of different areas of the game if you are not going to look at the value of this and what else it can do. Now, happy. I mean, it doesn't break down all that stuff because they're not being dropped on. That's fine. Yeah, things have to change, but you've also you can't take away the inherent value of certain premium items that you have sold to players.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have a ground of legitimacy there if you've purchased a product with an intended benefit to it, and then they change the way the game works, and you're stuck with this product that no longer functions anymore. I mean, they can do nothing about it. They're not obligated to, but it sure is not good customer service to do that.
And the thing is, so at this stage, we can't. Once we get it all in, we're going to look at sort of what else we can do with it. That's fine. I'm happy to wait a few months for you to work something out. I don't want you to rush things, and I'd much rather lose the spring cleaner than lose the mining and smithing update for it, But,
here's the thing: is you don't just say we're gonna leave it for dead. You say we'll come back later and look at it when we have the time. Right. This is a large project that affects many things. Some things are going to be broken on release. We have to fix thousands of things. There's going to be a handful that are going to be left over.
This wasn't like when everyone was raging about the coal and he said, "Oh, just drop it," where he's having tongue-in-cheek type thing, and everyone went nuts. This was like, well, we're not really going to worry about it. You just have to deal with it type thing. And it's like, no.
So again, they want mining and smithing to be the source of its materials, not PVM, which I think is extremely important. Obviously, that is a very big point of contention for a lot of people. I think that it is the right move to make, especially if the value is shifted in PVM to other sources. We're not just pulling these items from the tables and being like, well, enjoy your new drops, which are, just the same as before, only we've removed all this stuff. But also, that's not the case. This is just, hey, this is a skilling resource. You have to obtain it from skillers, and not the other way around. And of course, everyone was crying, Iron Men, Iron Men, Iron Men. This is how Iron Men trains.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, and
that's one thing I put. That's one of my notes. I have an Iron Man. I haven't played him in a while because they've watered it down so much. But having to worry about these big changes and doing something different for Iron Man, no. We chose Iron Man because it's hard. If I want to get 99 smithing and I have to mine every single bar myself...
Well, that was the point.
That's fine. That's the whole idea of me doing Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I don't get. It's like, your Iron Man is supposed to be a challenge. The more challenge, the more prestigious it is. The more you water it down, the less I give a shit that you're an Iron Man.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why people care about this. If I was an Iron Man and they were like, oh, PvM, this just got a billion times harder, I'd be like, good, I'm now a billion times strong, better than everyone else. I
am actually thinking, if they bring this in properly, I am thinking I'll start going back to my Iron Man a lot more because there's a challenge again.
So, and again,
I could be sitting here using these machines on my Iron Man and getting all this free XP.
This is coming from someone myself here, who doesn't touch an Iron Man because I don't think you should even bother with an Iron Man, personal opinion, unless you are at the very least comped. That's where I think you should consider an Iron Man account. Maxed is another, whatever. I personally think, though, if you're not comped, you really don't have business playing an Iron Man character, you can if you want, but like you don't have reason to complain about the damn thing if you're not even finished the main game yet. So like that's my reason. Like I don't have an Iron Man because I haven't finished the main game yet. But point being is, why would I want this extracurricular activity that is supposed to be a million times harder than the main game mode not to be that? Like people keep watering it down and watering it down and watering it down. I used to look up to Iron Man. I used to think that they were, you know, like this elite tier of account type, and I don't really look at it that way anymore because of how easy it is to train one these days. I mean, the idea of a group Iron Man now, again, like, that's a whole different game mode that I won't completely bash because I think it has its place in just custom game modes, but, like, it's just, I don't know. It's so weird where we've gone with Iron Man. They also say the metallic dragons will obviously need to fix because they drop a bunch of, you know, bars and stuff, so that can't happen anymore. And of course,
that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, the impact on Iron Man will definitely happen. It will be a thing that happens. They say if they really need to, they will have mechanics work differently on an Iron Man account, which I think is a horrible idea.
Oh. Yes, definitely not.
How? You're literally making handicaps for an account that's handicapped. Like
exactly. But that's the thing. Okay, well, hey, we'll still let Iron Man get these bars and that as drops. That's great. I'll go down there and I'll just farm rune dragons and get myself, you know, 25,000 rune bars and 100,000 rune ore. Then I'll convert it back to a normal account and trade it. You know, no, you've chosen Iron Man for the challenge.
Makes me so mad.
There should be no difference on anything like that for an Iron Man. We chose it to be hard. You know, leave it that way. Stop watering it down. Stop making it easy. If you don't want to do it, convert it to a normal account and just play the game again that way.
Yeah, I agree. I just got a message here. Sony Vegas Pro 14 is humble bundled $20. That's normally $400.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So if
where's that at?
Vegas.
I will toss a link into the general chat.
I'll buy that for $20.
Yeah, I'm gonna
buy that for $20 because that's usually about 200 or 400. You got to be kidding.
I'd buy that for $1.
Credit to Sudwood.
There we go.
Where do you get the... Can I pay with PayPal on this?
You can pay with PayPal, yes. Anyway, I will continue. Yeah, it's not like this is going anywhere. You got plenty of time on that. But I'm definitely going to grab that. Yeah, Humble Bundle. It's got a good bundle. If you're into creation, holy crap, that's nice. It comes with a bunch of other software as well. You get tons of software in that bundle.
This is the best one to use. I use, obviously, Camtasia.
I hate Camtasia so much.
From everyone I hear, see, I love Camtasia. I know how to use it, but Vegas is supposed to be the one. So
it's not that Camtasia is the easiest piece of shit to use. It just crashes all the time. For me, at least, it always has. I can't make it not crash. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, moving along. None of the base mining and smithing mechanics will require any unlocks from quests or other skills to train from 1 to 99. Whatever. I don't care. There will be a beta.
That's sort of... I mean, I still think certain things locked behind quests are a good idea. Whether it's just an easier area to get to or something like that. But
well, they say, like... just to train the skill, right? But like, what about things like the lava flow mine and stuff like that?
Exactly.
That's in the game and locked behind a quest. So what do they mean? Are they going to delete the lava flow mine? Probably not.
No, I thought they were going to. The way they were talking, it sounded like they were just going to take off the requirements for it, which I think is stupid.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I gotta. They're doing at least one of these a month, so we have to just kind of check back in. And speaking of, there's going to be a beta, as I previously mentioned there. They wanted to do one in December, but that wasn't possible. So early next year, but as soon as possible. They want to make it open as possible as well, so it's probably just going to require a member's account, I would assume. Will likely be the test square shown on stream rather than a full open world. which is
love
interesting.
That.
Yeah.
How they developed all that, I thought that was really interesting to see how the game, because I've never looked at how games are made and such. So for someone like me, to see how they did that type of thing was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to notice that, or to note that they would be tossing us into like a test square where we would play with it. I don't. I mean, that's fine for an early beta, but you're not gonna get the real feedback that you need until you open it up to like.
I think what they're looking at there, though, first off, is just mainly to make sure that they've got the XP right and all that, so they get feedback off off people. And this is the perfect thing for beta. I'll actually I've never done a beta before because I think my feedback, I don't know enough to sort of say anything about it. But in this type of thing, I will probably get involved and sort of look at the XP and things like that because it's a really important update to the game.
Yeah, I agree. I would definitely participate in this beta as much as I can. I don't exactly know how they're going to do it, but it's going to be interesting to see how they go about doing that. I need to take a look at the Traherne Hour. Voices of Saren harmonized is useless post rework. So that benefit will have to be changed. XP rates will be balanced to be roughly the same as existing, but will be very slightly better. So they're gonna lean towards making sure that if anything, it's better, not worse, is what they basically said, right?
Which is what they have to do. You can't make it worse.
Yeah. Dungeoneering runs on its own code, so it will largely remain the same. I'm fine with that. Dungeoneering is kind of a self-contained world. Doesn't matter. Quest requirements will. Yeah, exactly. Quest requirements will not be changed unless you have to smith or mine certain materials. Not looking to add new divine locations. If someone wants to take on the project in the future, they can. Obviously, runite ore will not be worth as much anymore, so that divine rune rock, those like 6 rune ores you get from it will be, probably garbage tier. You won't see those anymore.
It'd probably be double the size. I reckon you'd probably get double the amount from it when this update goes in.
Well, I mean, according to what they just said, they're not touching them at all, so probably they're just going to be useless. That's the thing. Someone's going to have to go back and adjust those things, but
absolutely. I think it'd be quite a simple thing. I reckon that'd be a ninja update, I reckon.
Yeah, just a tweak.
I mean, there's enough other divine locations that you don't need to worry about those anyway at this stage.
I don't know. People seem to like divine locations far more than I thought was a thing, but
I never World 2 Birth Orb and you see it bloody flooded.
I never used them. I very, very rarely participated in them. Anyway, mining. Rocks are now all non-competitive and never deplete. You click a rock and it's AFK. Every so often your character will take a break. You can click immediately.
How great was the animation of the character taking a break?
Just leaning over the rock.
Resting against the rock,
You could sell me so many cosmetics for the resting animations for that. You can click immediately to make your character resume mining, a more active but better XP. You can also choose not to click again, and your character will resume mining eventually, which is more AFK, obviously. Initial break is about 15 seconds, but scales very slightly with the agility level. Free-to-play won't receive this benefit, but the scaling is very low. So, it's not a huge benefit. Mining levels affect how quickly you mine, as well as how often you take breaks. So, these breaks, again, are about 15 seconds long, and your mining level is going to affect how often that happens. If your character takes a break, of course, you can, end the break by clicking, or you just let it happen to be AFK. Then you only have to worry about the logout timer. So, mining becoming much more AFK across the board. A good thing? A bad thing? I think that's overall.
I like this. Yeah,
I think that's overall a good thing.
It's a combination of both. Yes, it's AFK, but you're going to get lower XP, or you can sit there and as you hit bang, just keep mining. So for more of those people who want to concentrate and look at it, I really like the way they implemented this.
Yeah, me too. I think they did a good job of that XP system that we've been kind of talking about for a long time on the show, where it's like lean forward, more XP, lean back, less XP. We just need to kind of hammer into their heads that each skill needs a money-making method. Mining level affects how quickly you mine as well as how often you take breaks, as I just mentioned. Your mining level will also affect how much XP you get per strike, as does the tier of pickaxe. 1/10 of your strength level is added to your mining level for this purpose. At 99 strength, the bonus is about 5%. Decent bonus, but in no way necessary. So again, bringing some value from some combat skills, and that's interesting. I've always thought that those types of skills should be tied together. So this is like hugely like props from me personally. I think that's a really cool idea. Like, I think skills should be way more intermingled than they are, and this is a great starting point. Go ahead.
I was a little worried about them doing... I mean, I love the idea of putting agility in with it. I was a little bit hesitant on the way they'd implement strength, but the way they showed it and the way they've explained it, I thought, yeah, no, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. It's not a huge bonus either. Like, it's there if you have...
That's just what you need.
A strength boost, which makes sense. Like, it fits thematically, so I'm happy with it. Temporary boosts affect all these stats, past 99 as well. Higher mining will give you more XP per strike. Overloading for the strength boost is 11.6 mining levels worth at 99. It rounds down to 10. So you effectively could start drinking overloads while mining if you wanted to. That is crazy to think about. You get a 10 level boost from overloads. Get XP with every strike, every 4 ticks, but not with every ore, which I think is fine. So you're gaining a constant stream of XP, and the ore is more based off of your skills. That's fine. There will be a progress bar above your character's head, which gives you an ore. Once it fills, you gain a number of points towards the progress bar, which is equal to the mining level plus your tier of pickaxe. At level 99, the progress bar was giving an ore with every strike on coal. Every so often, a rock will be exploding, which gives 10 times the progress compared to regular rocks. Woof, woof, woof to you, too.
Even Pyrnassius' dog agrees with you. One thing about the exploding rock, my thoughts is they ought to go back to the old random event. When it comes to that stuff, you have an exploding rock, your pickaxe will dent and stuff like that, and then you have to take it to Bob, the axe repairer or whatever.
I don't like the exploding rock idea, exactly because of the same reason. It's like back in the day when like your pickaxe head used to fly off and rocks used to smoke and explode. It's like, in my mind, exploding rock means avoid the rock. And I don't know in what world a smoking rock or an exploding rock would mean, hey, I'm going to go strike that with, like, you know, like, it just seems like counterintuitive for... being intuitive. That's literally the definition of counterintuitive.
That'll be my only feedback on the exploding rock, is they need to make that back to the random event.
Make it a glowing rock. Yeah, like make it like glow or something like that. Yeah. I don't like the idea of it exploding. It just that doesn't make sense. So again, I'm
going to hit this exploding rock. It's going to blow up on me, and I end up in death's office.
Yeah,
right.
I was going to say that.
There, you want a dangerous mining? There you go. You got it. Will stay until you log out if you don't click it. If you do click it, it'll revert to a regular after a small period, and a new rock will become exploding after about 1 minute. So this is pretty this happens pretty often. It sounds like it's weird. I don't like it. It just doesn't fit. Will only spawn on the same rock type that you are interacting with if there are multiple types of rocks around you. So if you're mining mithril, only a mithril rock will become exploding. It's unique to each player, so no one else can steal it from you. Because again, mining is now non-competitive. I don't like the idea of it being exploding. I like the idea of it being. Like, just make it something else. Anything but exploding. I don't care if it's shooting a water geyser out of it. Just anything else.
I do love the non-competitive nature they're bringing into it, though.
Yeah.
It is going to bring back more social activity between players, I think. I'll sit there. If I'm just watching TV, I can sit there and mine. I'm not going to tell anyone, piss off, this is my rock. I can sit there and just have a chat. How you going? You're in a clan, and then just start talking to people again.
Yeah.
Pyrn's gonna have that little duck thing that goes back and forth on his keyboard, just bashing the left and right arrows while he's watching TV.
Now every single mining spot can be just like Living Rock Caverns chat. Yay!
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. What have you wished for?
One reason I got the golem outfit is I don't have to go and be down there with all those subhumans.
So stackable. Well, technically, they're subhumans. They're subterranean humans. They're below the Earth's crust. There you go. So stackable ore, too disruptive to the economy.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I definitely agree.
Yeah, same here. Functions like a coal bag for ores. So they're talking about the stackable ore now being replaced with an ore bag. Functions like a coal bag, but for all ores. You can only have one. Currently, one will spawn in your inventory when you receive an ore to make it an ease of use and not something you'd forget in your bank. Possibly, that can be auto-created when you click it from the tool belt as an alternative. You click to fill it. Will not interrupt mining. That's cool. Currently has a capacity of 1,000. Will need balancing with higher tiers making up more than one space, which I think is a good idea. You know, it's like your higher tier ore just takes more of the bag rather than you can just have 1,000 of any ore. That's probably for the best.
What I would like to see in this, though, is some sort of reward system. You know, whether they do it through artisans or, you know, in sort of future quests and things where you can upgrade this ore bag to hold more. You know, these are the perfect type of things that you can put into quests to make awesome quest rewards, which shouldn't really take too much dev time. So say they're saying 1,000 now, but say initially they bring it at 500, and then you get a quest where you can do it at 1,000, and then the next quest we can do it at 2,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you listen
upgrades.
I don't know if you listened to the lore stream this year with Osborne and the others, but they were mentioning how next year they want to do a lot more quests that are smaller in size. Oh, you know, like the bottle quest idea they had, but they actually want to do it this time, they said. Yeah. I mean, that fits exactly. Like, you have these quests that are, you know, small in nature but have impactful stories with useful rewards that are they may be niche rewards, but they're useful nonetheless.
That's exactly. That's all I want. They don't have to be, you know, world-changing events. You can give me 2 major quests a year. If I'm getting 6 or 8 nice little quests with something useful, I want that. I want that upgraded coal bag. I'm going to go do this quest. I'm going to spend 45 minutes an hour doing this quest to unlock that reward. I don't want XP drops. I want tangible, usable rewards in game. So, when I did hear them sort of talking, I also heard Mod Osborne saying he's stepping back as being one of the actual lore developers. He's handing the reins over.
Yeah,
and I was very sad to hear that.
Yeah, I forget why. Like, what is?
I mean, I can't remember what he said, but the thing is, he's got just too much on his plate with everything else he's doing. He just doesn't have his finger on the pulse with everything anymore.
It's fair. It's fair. So the coal bag itself. I should mention that this also this hugely this hugely devalues portals. Hugely is a strong word. I mean, for the mining skill it does, but like it's still really porters are still very useful in fishing and in plenty of other gathering skills. So I don't think it's a big deal.
Even in if you go and kill your green dragons or your blue dragons, I mean it sends the hide straight back to the bank for you. There's still plenty that the porters who are still going to be very useful.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that too much.
No.
The coal bag, current idea is to make the coal bag into an ore bag upgrade to increase the capacity. Could have 1 ore bag upgrade from the Dungeoneering store and 1 rewarded from somewhere else. Quest.
Yes.
Yeah. So it looks like they might be somewhere along those lines. You're on page 14, they're on page 15. We're almost there. We just, could turn 1 more page and maybe we can get on the same page as them as far as getting some quests in with some valuable niche rewards. Low tier pickaxes can't be used on high level rocks. So that's an interesting idea. I think it's a good idea. It makes sense. Runite ore will of course be reduced to level 50 ore. Lumite ore is the new level 40 ore, replacing coal as the secondary for adamant and runite bars. Coal will be the new level 30, and it will not be necessary for high-level smithing. Still used for steel bars, but we wanted to preserve the value of coal, so we will find a use for it. Possibly incorporate coal into the new heat mechanic, which we'll get to.
And we'll get that further. But I mean, I think that's a no. That's what I call for all along. That we should now use coal to
I like that idea.
Just power up the furnaces and such.
Yeah.
And looking at what they're doing, I sort of thought that looks like the way they are going. But definitely, that is the way. Not maybe. It should be a definite that's the way it goes.
I agree, and it seems as though that's what they're doing. And good. Good stuff. Dracolith ore is the new level 60 ore. It's visually inspired by Dragon, the metal which Dragon is made out of. Dragon can forge the more superior versions of Dragon armor. So again, this is basically like, you know, player-made cheap
made
dragon
for dragon
knockoff,
armor.
which is actually purely, they said, just to preserve the value of actual dragon armor, and not really any other. We won't need to use the Dragon Forge to make Dracolith, however.
Didn't like that idea.
I do, because I don't want to have to go to the Dragon Forge just to make one stupid. Like, yeah, it's not. It's cool, lore-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
Yeah,
but it's just
go to that spot to
because
make
of
the
the
dragon
lore.
plate.
All right, here's the deal. We can have to go to the Dragon Forge to make it if we can then make a replica mini Dragon Forge in our player-owned house. Like
yes,
that'd be the trade-off for me. Or you turn the max guild throne into a building hotspot where you can build either a throne or your own Dragon Forge.
Oh no,
if you're gonna use the max, if you're gonna use the max guild to make a hotspot, you might as well give that hotspot for invention or something.
No.
Yeah,
for cryptoness.
Got enough things.
That's one more. That's just one more thing you can do with the new hotspot, the new buildable hotspot. Throne,
Right.
player-own altar, whatever you just said. The Dragon Forge. You just build anything you want. It's the comp cape of altars. Anyway,
Yeah, we call throwing something different in Australia.
Let me continue on here. So again, it will be a weaker version of dragon armor. The issue with making dragon smithable is that we will have to create additional items to replace the value of the more expensive dragon items, which is lame. Dracolith won't be able to be used to upgrade crystal pickaxe and hatchet or ascension crossbows. Again, to preserve the value.
Imagine Dracolith crossbows
of dragon.
Yeah,
I mean,
I really do love that, because that way they don't need to worry about those drops and say, your dragon pickaxes, dragon hatchets, dragon crossbow limbs. You don't need to. It's not something else you're taking out. They have always been unique to PVM, so I'm happy for those to remain unique to PVM and then use them as the basis for other things. So I was really glad they thought about this and made sure that they did protect that.
Nechrite ore comes in at tier 70, with the secondary being Phasmatite ore. May introduce special mechanics, but currently we have nothing. It's just basic tier 70 gear. Bane ore comes into tier 80. Its secondary is Dark Anamika ore, Corrupted Crystallized Divine Energy. It's a purple Corrupted God Energy. Initially we thought tier 77 Bane ore already exists. Why not let it tune to everything lore-wise and make it a flat T80? Scrap that idea. Now we're thinking that we can make Bane weapons that you can tune towards more things, something like T60 regularly, but T80 against its intended target, which I think that's pretty cool. Like, again, niche,
I love that idea.
Niche area weapons that you create that are better against. Yes. Especially when they're player created. Part of the reason for this is it ties into the existing concept, and it also gives it purpose to tier 80, because as it is with the rework, a lot of people already have mining or smithing past 90, so T80 is kind of a vestigial tier. Does it really matter? But if we can make some specialized weapons for some monsters, certain Slayer assignments, or something, then T80 will have a good use. And I agree. That sounds great for especially for Slayer, like just certain monsters that are weak to, a Bane sword or something like that. Yeah, good. Tier 90, move into Elder Rune bars. Tier 90 bars will be made of 3 ores. You'll need Colossite ore, probably needs to be renamed to Elder Runite ore. Living Rock ore, and Light Anamika ore. Rune as the highest smithable was iconic, so we named it Elder Runite. And there you go. And then we talk about the upgraded Crystal Pickaxe. Crystal Pickaxe preserves the value of the Dragon Pickaxe. Crystal Pickaxe will be better than the Tier 70 Nechrite. Nechrite will not be augmentable. Higher level pickaxes will use the Crystal Pickaxe as part of its upgrade, so the Tier 90 Pickaxe will be augmentable, and the Tier 80 Pickaxe will also be augmentable if there is a case for it. But, like, why wouldn't there be a case for it if...
The T70 is.
If the T70, if the Crystal Pickaxe is upgradable, I don't know.
The T60 and T70 pickaxes are actually both augmentable, so the T80
wouldn't be why. Yeah, I don't know. New ores will go wherever we can find spots for them. Some of them have been thematically appropriate locations, while some will need changes to their locations to make them more thematically apt. May mean repurposing existing mining spots. May mean creating new mining spots. Living rock caverns and the living floor mines we would like to use as more iconic spots, so those might get some more foot traffic. And mining boosts your mining scales, the XP. So the one thing I really wanted to touch upon here is they mentioned a set effect for tier 80, but they didn't mention one for tier 90. I assume that's just incomplete at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that there is no set effect for tier 90, but I wanted to point upon the fact that it just probably hasn't been created yet.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, they're ironing out things, and
yeah, we're really in the early stages, like really early stages.
I mean, we haven't even got actual models of these things.
Yeah.
We've got square models. So,
yeah.
And hopefully the dwarven mines under Felidor, they will sort of get more happening down there to give players reasons to go back.
The whole mining guild,
yes,
could be amazing, especially with the new non-competitive rocks. Like that could be a new social center for mid-tier mining.
Yeah,
like it'll go mining guild living, or mining guild living rock caverns, basically. Good.
Yeah, and there again, you can have, because you'll have, say you've got to go to living rock cavern for certain of these areas, but if you're a certain mining level and you've got the the quests done, and you could even use new quests to unlock certain caves that sort of give access to some of the highest level ores down there, and really bring the mining guild back up to where it needs to be, and hopefully in the future as well, where they could implement the mining shafts, where we do have chance to really get good drops of the ore and such, but at a risk to the player's life.
I hope we see distraction and diversion that adds in dangerous mechanics eventually. I don't think we're going to see it on release, unfortunately. And I mean, they pretty much, they pretty much said that it wasn't.
They've got a lot on their plate, but I hope that mining shaft idea hasn't been just thrown away. I hope it's just on the back burner.
Me too. Moving on to the smithing category here. Smelting is essentially the same, but with a new hopper system. Every furnace and anvil will use to consolidate a hopper-like system. So again, that's where you'll store your ores for pretty much smithing now. So depositing ores and bars into the hopper you can deposit noted ores as well straight from the ore bag. A unique smithing bank for ores and bars that can only be used for smithing, so you can store these up here and just kind of use them at your leisure. Can hold a max stack of each ore and bar, so you can just load up and go to town and then just start smithing. That's the intended use, at least. Undecided if the unconventional bars like Bluerite will be given the chance to go in the hopper. I don't think it's necessary for those types of things. Hopper will show its content every time the smithing interface is accessed. Smithing will use materials directly from the hopper. When smelting, bars will go into your inventory but can be deposited straight back into the hopper. That's obviously to add some level of interactivity from the player, so it's on 100% AFK. Yep. Your hopper storage is the same across all furnaces and anvils. Rune bar, 1 runite ore plus 1 lumite bar. Elder rune bar is 1 living rock ore plus 1 light anamika ore plus 1 colossite ore. Much like mining, XP is given per strike, which is every 2 ticks of the anvil, but items are not produced until a progress bar is complete, which I love this system so much more than what's in-game right now. This is just, so good. This is what I have honestly wanted it to be the entire time, so I'm really excited that my thoughts I'm actually kind of seeing on the screen, especially considering I've had no take in the development process. So it's kind of it's cool to know that my thoughts kind of aligned on some of these things here. Creating an item. Yeah.
I was going to say, that's exactly the way. I mean, smithing is that you don't hit once, produce a bar.
Yeah.
It is a constant tap, 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 turn it over, tap, tap, tap. And that percentage of doing it really, it's that immersion of you're really smithing.
Yeah.
And I love the way they were doing it. It was this excited me for mining and smithing. It's wow, it's here, it's going to come. And they're doing it exactly how I like it. And hopefully, everyone else thinks the same way, that, it's going to be a great thing.
So creating an item gives, such as an example, let's talk about rune here, an unfinished runite item, which needs to be worked on until the progress bar is complete. Tracks the progress of an item as well as its heat. We will discourage players to start and not complete multiple unfinished items because there is no point. 2 progress bars above your head. Above shows progress towards the item being smithed when the item is complete, and below shows how much heat your item has. So here's the heat mechanic. This really makes it much more immersive and feeling like you're actually smithing an item here. Your item needs to be hot to be smithed, as you would expect, right? No progress can be made on an item once its heat is 0%. Every anvil will have a forge next to it to heat your items up. The higher the heat, the more progress and XP per strike you'll get or make. This causes a harps-like effect when training, like the harps in Prifddinas. If you want the best XP, you'll have to be actively making sure your heat is topped up, or you can AFK and your heat will obviously go down and you'll get less XP. So if your heat is greater than 90, you get a 4 times multiplier. If it's greater than 75, you get a 3 times multiplier. Greater than 52, 0 to 50 is 1. So obviously you want to keep that heat above 90 for best XP, but if you want to go AFK, you can do that as well, and you're still going to get XP just at a much slower rate, which I think is
brilliant.
On par. That is exactly what we...
That's what we asked for.
Yeah. That's where it should have been, and I'm glad to see where we're going. The plus X option here, you can create plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, or plus 5 versions of base equipment now. Plus X items will have the same wear and smith requirements as their base versions, but will have plus X tiers, like Rune Plate Body plus 3 will require 50 defense to wear, 50 smithing to make, but will have tier 53 stats. So, you can get slightly better versions up to tier 5 of these items. So there's, it adds a lot of item variance into the game, obviously.
And then we'll be able to take it out and trim it for everyone.
Yeah, right. The tier of armor affects how many times it can be upgraded. Bronze can't be upgraded at all. Rune can be upgraded to plus 3, and tier 90 can be upgraded to plus 5. So that's how that works out. So from bronze to elder, there's a plus 1, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s, and it scales depending on the level of the ore. Rune item plus 1 requires rune item and 10 runite bars. Rune item 2 requires rune item 1 plus 20 runite bars, and so on and so forth. So these get exponentially more expensive to make. Go ahead.
And it's a great sink for the item for the resources too. I can't find anything wrong with what they've done here.
No, me either. This has exactly the way I would have probably designed it. If they were like, hey, sit down and let's figure out how smithing is going to work. And I was way more interested. You can do way more with smithing than you can with mining, right?
Yeah.
So, smithing and mining is like, okay, yeah, fine. But let's really talk about smithing because that's where the magic's going to happen here. And I'm honestly surprised that this announcement hasn't shot up the price of rune bars. Where people are like, we got to buy rune bars now, stock up on them because holy crap, we're gonna be able to make money off of this shit in a year.
Well, that's the thing though. I mean, that's because rune is basically being halved in its tier for all. It's gone from level 90 down, or was it level 85 down to level 50 to mine.
Yeah, and Smith.
But they're actually going to be keeping the value of it, which is they've done it in a way that it will keep value, and it actually shocked me because I thought, I'm going to have to make all my stuff and high elk it, before this comes out because otherwise I'm just going to lose a ton of money. And I want to get into that later on where they're talking about the money side of things too, but that comes down later on. But I think they have actually kept the value of it here.
They've done a good job of keeping the value of it for sure. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of market upset, obviously, but they've done a good job of quelling that.
Fluctuate wildly, and it'll settle down. But
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna probably not touch the market unless an item that I have shoots up in value, then I'll sell. But it's just when this comes out, buying supplies, not a good time. Just make sure you already have your supplies.
The only thing I'm disappointed. I've been saving all my dragon equipment because I was saying, you know, they were going to be making some of the ores. You're going to have to melt down your dragon equipment.
Yeah,
and stuff. So
Well, that's
I've
still
been
happening.
Saving all that.
That's still happening. They haven't It's not even being touched upon in this document yet because we're nowhere near even looking at that. We're only showcasing what's been actually put in game and in a proof of concept. What you're thinking about is masterwork smithing, and that is a whole nother showcase, probably next month.
You're telling me do keep it, don't dump it.
Yeah. If you want to see masterworking, it's still in design document form. It hasn't happened yet. But everything we've talked about from that design document is still happening. It's just not. There's nothing that they can show yet. They're still in the stages. Yeah, they're still in the stages where they're like, here's how the heat system works. That's where they're at. Yeah, they're just nowhere near even getting to masterworking yet. But oh, yeah, the cream on top of this jelly donut has not even been gotten to yet.
Just on a side note, just to let people know, using the rifts for the Christmas event doesn't fill your urns.
Good to know. Good to know. You tried, and that's the important thing. When you hit the max level of plus X, you can turn it into an untradeable decorated version. So a rune plate body plus 3 can become a rune plate body decorated. Decoration process is very quick and works with noted items. Decorated versions can be handed into Thurgo, Lady Tra, or Doric, any important NPCs that do smithing, basically, for a big chunk of XP. Currently unusable once you make it decorated, but we might make it have the same stats as the max for the plus X for that tier, because it would suck if you accidentally decorated a valuable plus 5. Which, you know, that'll happen to somebody out there. Oh, speaking of, shoutouts to David, who disassembled his Praisal wand the other day. It happens.
On purpose?
No.
Oh, David.
No.
Yeah.
A whole day to go and earn back again.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That sucks.
Happy.
That is bad.
Pseudo happy ending to that story. He got a personal appraisal wand drop like 20 minutes later.
Well, that's David. But still,
that's David.
If anyone deserves not to get screwed over on something like that, it's David.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, yeah. I just thought that story. Sorry. Go ahead.
And this is what we're talking about, where they're going to be saving the value of Rune, because you're going to be able to sell those tier 3 or tier 5 before they become decorated. So you're going to have the rich people who just want to do it quickly. They'll buy the tier 5, decorate them, hand them in, and just make mad XP, but at a huge cost to them. So I can't tell them enough how much I love what they have talked about here.
Yeah.
And that decorated one, I'd love to do it, because I'd love to just make an untradeable decorated one that looks really, has a really good graphic to it that you can wear.
And then cosmetics. I'm all about cosmetics. Let's see here. Instead of alking your equipment, when we want players to sell their plus X's for their profit with the decorated items, leaving the game through NPCs. Tier 90 with the current balancing is either tier 75 or tier 80 and gets upgraded by 5 tiers using the plus X mechanic. So that's how that works. It actually kind of scales upwards to its final destination, if you will. So when you smith something, it's not... If you're smithing this tier 80 gear, it may not be actually tier 80 right off the bat. You got to upgrade it first, which is good. I love the idea of having to feed more materials in to refine something into a more valuable product. It's not a new idea, but it's a good, solid, long MMORPG idea that's been used throughout the generations of games, and I'm glad to see them taking that on. Quote, we are really uncomfortable with that 90 smithing is creating tier 75 and 80, which requires level 90 to wear. Feels horrible, but it's the best solution we have without threatening PVM too much. I don't think it's that horrible.
I was going to say, that's not horrible at all, because you have to work on it to upgrade it. And that's exactly what we want for smithing. It should take time to make these and get these up to, where they're a wanted item. It shouldn't be, okay, I'm going to spend 5 minutes, make this and then sell it, for its full value. No, I've got to make it and recreate it to get it up to that tier 90 that people want.
Yeah.
It should take time to get those. And they said they were uncomfortable. I thought, why? That's exactly what we sort of want.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, it's uncomfortable if you're a PVMer, and I think he's being sympathetic to the people who, just want to make the gear and then have their gear. It's not going to be that. It's going to be a little more difficult than that. It's going to take a little more time than that. And preaching to a skiller, that's awesome. But preaching to a PVMer, that's probably, a different tune that they're hearing than I'm hearing. But yeah, I think that's maybe where they're coming from. But I don't think they should have phrased it like that, because it certainly does not feel horrible if you are, the skiller who wants skilling.
To me, when you say, "Oh, I'm uncomfortable at doing this," it immediately puts someone, "Okay, I can change their mind because I don't want it. I don't think it's a good idea."
Yeah,
they're already thinking that way. So let's rag on them and hit them hard to get them to change.
Showing your weakness is a dangerous thing, and you got to be confident in these ideas, at least in front of a camera, the very least.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't think, other than the 120 and the spring cleaner, I don't think they have got this.
I think they're doing pretty good. Smithing perks need to be looked at as well. Unlikely that we'll make any new perks, but if we need to, we will. We may need to redesign or tweak existing ones. The rework allows for more rewards. Previously, the only rewards we could give ever were less ingredients used or faster smithing, with less rewards like less heat decays or slower, etc. Alking is also a thing that they could benefit, I suppose. We don't expect people to alk. Alk values will go down. A lot less items will be coming into the game, so alking won't be as necessary. I think it's a good thing to get away from so much alking.
That's one of the notes I've got down here is with the alking, you're not creating gold because, guys that they're alking it, it's actually creating gold because a lot of the things you buy them at a lower cost than you alk for. So you're actually just generating gold that shouldn't be there into the game. So this is... Elking should be just something, I just need to get it out of the way quickly type thing. It shouldn't be a major source of money. And I think, again, they have done a great job with that.
I agree. I think spot on. Looking to substitute items in players' banks with new functionless items that can be alked for the same value to preserve their banks. Yeah, I mean... I'd rather not, but it's a point of compromise.
This is the one thing that I didn't like. People have got plenty of warning about this. If you're worried about elk value, get out there and start elking it. Build your machine, get it in there, get it elking while you don't even need to elk it yourself if you're high enough on your invention.
Here's what I'm thinking.
I mean,
you took a 3-year break from the game. You come back, you stored all your items, or you had this happened to my friend, right? He played the game this was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, but so 4 years ago he played the game 5 years ago, right? And he came back and he had a stack of 1,000 Armadillo helmets back when they were 10, 15 million GP each.
Yeah.
He logged back in and they were, this was pre-invention. He logged back in and they were 100K each, right?
Yeah.
And he gave them all to me. Because he was just I was mad about it. No, I'm not. I'm just saying they're probably trying to think about those people is all. Not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying that's probably who they're thinking of.
You've got to expect if you've invested in something, you have to expect markets to change and things will go down. That is hard to say against Rune. I will give them that because Rune has pretty much held its value for the last 8 or 10 years. It's been pretty much at elk values, so I sort of understand what they're saying. And as you said, it's a compromise that I'm willing to accept. I'm not necessarily liking it, but. And accept to get the rest of it in, quite happy for it to do that way.
Yeah, so they're saying again, they're warning again, items will be made much slower, so post-rework, don't expect millions of Rune 2-handers to elk. It's not going to be a thing anymore. That's just, that's a huge market right now, is creating Rune 2-handers and then reselling them to alkers, who then alk them for a few hundred DP profit, creating that wealth there.
You do it on the portable forges, you get a ton, and then you chuck it in your own elker. And
you could do that too, yeah.
Bank!
That's kind of what I want to do instead of Slayer, but I'm sticking with Slayer. I'm just I'm going to kind of probably couple those two things together so I don't go insane. Yeah. Which will drastically affect invention, they mentioned again. So we will take a look and see if anything needs to be done, or if an insufficient amount of ingredients to certain summoning pouches are in circulation. Go ahead.
Yeah. Again, when they're so drastically affect invention, it will affect invention. I don't know about drastically because you still have battle staves. You know,
Here's how I would go
you
about
buy
doing
those
it.
on the GE.
Is yes, invention is going to be affected, obviously. But what I would do for that is if we find that there's not enough items being brought into the game, instead of adding a way for these items to come into the game faster, simply boosting the amount of components they give per item is what I
Yes.
would do.
Yep.
So,
Rather than being like 50%, make it 80%, or make it 90, or even make it okay. You're going to get 100%.
yeah, or it's just like if this was previously, yeah, giving you, 2, it's now giving you 4 or whatever, I don't know. But point being, yes, just like increase the amount of components coming into the game rather than increasing the supply of items that create said components. Let's see here. We might need to replace some of the items on the drop tables with the new items, which disassemble into the same components if need be. Again, I like my idea better. The number of bars required to make each item type have changed. Offhand variants require the same amount of bars as their main hands. So gauntlets and boots require 2. Chain bodies and plate bodies are 6. Helms, full helms, plate legs, plate skirts are 5. Two-handed swords are 20. Daggers, hatchets, maces, swords, scimitars, pickaxes, long swords, warhammers, battle axes, claws, square shields, and guide shields, 10. Likely, you'll forge the bars together to make a weapon bar, etc. Haven't made the smithing overload yet, so there's nothing to show there yet either. Really hard to make it, which they don't know. They don't really give any information yet, but they want it to be hard to make. Level 99, but possibly a weaker version at level 90. Untradeable benefit that won't be expensive to use. I'm not a fan of that. I think it should be tradable.
Oh.
That ruins the again the value that can be made from high level smithing.
99 that's untradeable, but have a level 95 that you can trade.
Some kind of self buff that helps you in of course combat. Which again, fine, but I think you should be able to sell it in case you don't give a shit about combat.
Yep.
Anyway.
That is again, I missed the last 10 minutes, but yeah, I didn't hear them talk about that. But yeah, I think have 2 versions, have a superior version and a tradable version.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Similar to how Ports works with their superior and inferior versions. Yeah, that would be just a way when you're 99 smithing just to make, a couple million gold an hour if you want to by grinding out making those. I don't see that should be a problem. It's like when you're 99 in a skill that creates items or even gathers items, like you should be able to make a little bit of money in it. That's I don't think a huge ask, but everything here overall, I would say this is going in a very positive direction. They're doing a pretty dang good job. So I am looking forward to hearing more about it, and I really want to hear about masterworking, of course, because we haven't even touched on the end game yet. So much to come.
Touch upon is the chick axe that they quickly designed and put into the game. I want the chick axe.
A lot of people
want everybody else.
Yeah, everybody wanted the chick axe apparently. Anyway, that's going to wrap up our mining and smithing rework showcase section of the show. I hope you enjoyed that and found it interesting. We are going to move along here to a personal idea from Pyrnassius here. I'm going to let you read this. Give my voice a little break here. And,
the POC quest.
Yes.
So please take the floor. Talk about it and go right ahead.
Basically, just something. I love the Ark when they brought it out and such, but to me, it's it's like that mini game thing. Once you complete it, you never go back to it again. And I really think that with the amount of time and development that went into it, it should be more functional once you have unlocked sort of all the rewards down there. So basically, this was just the city of Goshamer. That when we go to the Isle of Goshamer, there's a city there that you can't access. So it was sort of in my mind to develop something that sort of gets us into there. So basically, you start by speaking to Zuka Onwako, who is the person you trade the mushrooms and shells and the driftwood planks to, and his father is missing. So you've got to he asked you to help him find his father, who had gone to Goshamer to collect some mushrooms. So I'll just read exactly what I said because it's probably easier than trying to describe. I'll probably take longer doing it that way. So starting out, you speak to Zuko Onwako, who asked you to help him find his father, Juko, while traveling to Goshamer to collect certain mushrooms needed to create special scrimshaws. Zuko tells you that only his father knows the secret of creating these scrimshaws, and that if you help him and return his father, they will give you access to these scrimshaws as a reward. Head to Goshama. So you head to the East Mushroom Patch near the entrance of the city. Investigate the Mushroom Patch to find a secret map drawn on a piece of old sailcloth. Read the map to discover a secret entrance in the north of the wall of the city. Search the patch again to find an edible immoral mushroom and a corpse bloom mushroom. Head north and search the wall to discover the carved stones. Push these stones in a certain pattern and a secret door will open, allowing you access to the city. So just a small puzzle in there, nothing that needs to be too major, but just sort of adds that little bit of puzzle there. Another sort of thing with that map could also be that you maybe need to sort of try and kill a pirate or do something else to get that. But this is obviously just they can play around with it. Once you enter the city, make sure that you have your combat gear and food and enter the secret doorway. Once inside, the door will close behind you, locking you inside. Head south and begin searching the buildings. Your presence will awaken the Jiangshi, a type of undead zombie-like creature created by the Khan when Korra bound her body against her spirit. Use the edible corpse, that should have been the edible mushroom to give yourself protection against infection from the Jiangshi. You must now fight your way through several Jiangshi, keeping your eye on the protection the mushrooms give you. Its effects wear off after 30 seconds and you'll need to use it again to remain protected. Failure to remain protected results in rapid-fire hits to your health of between 2,000 and 4,000 points as the Jiangshi suck your soul's energy. Jiangshi, a key drops. Pick up the key and head to the largest building towards the east wall. Be careful not to open any other buildings, as this will result in more Jiangshi being released, and you'll need to defeat them before continuing. Once you get to the palace, use the key on the door of the palace, enter the main hall, where you will be confronted by 2 Jiangshi guards. Be careful, as these are much more powerful than the Jiangshi outside and have the ability to stun you. Once defeated, walk to the golden doors at the end of the hall. Investigate to find a series of gems embedded in the door. Push them in the correct order to unlock them. Once you have opened them, head inside and find the golden altar. Lying on top of the altar is Zuko, his body perfectly preserved but unbreathing. Use the corpse bloom mushroom on Zuko to awaken him and then talk to him. Researching scrimshaws when he came across writings telling of a book that contained secret recipes creating more powerful scrimshaws in the city of Goshima. His research led him to the palace, but he was trapped there by the Jiangshi. He cannot escape. One of his abilities was to be able to enter a state of hibernation where his body would sleep but require no food or water until he was awoken. Thanking you for rescuing him, he promises you access to the scrimshaws if you can return him to his son on Waco. Reunion. Leave the palace and head toward the northern wall and the secret doorway. Push the stones in the correct order. This will be opposite to the combination on the outside. And exit, heading to the docks. Once back at Waco, talk to Zuko, who thanks you for finding his father and freeing him. Zuko promises to provide you with a range of scrimshaws as long as you cover the costs of them as rewards for his rescue. Quest complete. So what I'm looking at here is two basic ways they could do it. The ability to unlock recipes to create our own special scrimshaws. Examples with scrimshaw of noting, a scrimshaw that works for either 30 to 60 minutes and notes bones if you unlock the bone crusher upgrade on Waco. This will be created using 100 blister berries, 2 seashells and a driftwood. A scrimshaw of thieving, which lowers the chance of being stunned by 25%, again using 100 sour berries. So I've got a few different ones in there.
I like that the berries are getting some use finally.
That's one of the things I want to do. Just get some use out of some of the things that are in there.
Yeah.
One I had in there was a scrimshaw of summoning, which gives a chance of saving 10% of the summoning shards while creating pouches.
Oh, that would be nice.
Don't we already have the spirit gems, which give you the possibility of saving...
Would that stack?
Yes, but they only save...
what, 50%?
Not the shards. No, they only save the... what are they called?
Charms?
Charms, not the shards.
Right, okay.
So the two options... The second option could be... One is the unlocking of the Ark ourselves to be able to create them. You buy a new Ancient Bone fragment from the Ark store using your using the gold from the economy down there. The second alternative is to give the items required to Juko and have him make it for us. This will also open the opportunity for other scrimshaws and rewards for other quests in the future, and perhaps some way to tie the pirates and the Ark together as ongoing content. So also 2 types of scrimshaws you could, similar to the ports, a superior non-tradable version for ourselves and a second tradable version that you could sell on the GE.
I like this. It's a good size, good little, fits in with the rest of kind of the Ark theme.
You could call it the Ark 3.
You could.
Or A3, Ark 3.
I enjoyed listening to it, I have to say. It's a nice little kind of side-style quest, and I think it would fit the game quite nicely. It's a shame that the Ark kind of, got released, updated a little bit afterwards, and then just like, we're done.
Exactly.
With the Ark.
Yeah. Another thing that I forgot to put in there that I had actually in my original notes for it was that the Jiangshi could then also become Slayer creatures. So you know how you get the Slayer tasks for those dragons. You could also, these could be sort of another alternative Slayer reward down there. They don't even have to have decent drops, maybe just chimes or something like that, but they offer some good XP drops, or you could have it as a good source of gathering chimes or gathering sort of get some of those ancient bone shards to drop to create your own scrimshaws and things that are from this. But it's just an idea that I had out there, and because I do love the Ark, and I think it is such a shame that 6 or 9 months development time, that in 4 to 6 weeks you complete it all and then you're out of there and never touch it again unless you just SP something.
Which some of us are, but I get what you mean. Yeah, it's such a beautiful area that we should really return to it. It's got good lore. I would love to see more done with it. Can I implore you to read one more post for me?
I can do that.
The next
Skilling Pet Chance?
Yep, that's where we're at.
That's the one. This has been posted by Mod Timbo. Hello everyone, welcome to the Skilling Pets Drop Formula Development blog. Today we're going to be revealing how we calculate the chance of obtaining a skilling pet. We'll do our best to explain as accurately and as clearly as we can so that this info can aid you in your pet hunting. With each method explanation, we'll give one example of a skill within that method to better explain the working out in action. Is listing every single method for every single skill. The only cases in which we explicitly prohibit skilling pets from being obtained are typically temporary events and treasure hunter items, such as Protean and dummies, although sometimes exceptions are made, like with the 2007 Christmas XP activities. So confirmed, you can get the pet while you are doing the Christmas activities.
Bam.
That's it. I'll be doing that on Sunday.
Pets work. Yeah, that's what I'm sitting here doing now in the hope of getting Rue. I'd love to get Rue live on the podcast. Anyway, how skilling pets work. There are 2 different methods for awarding skilling pets, the time-based method and the XP-based method. Skills which fall under the time-based method are agility, divination, fire-making, fishing, hunter, mining, thieving, and woodcutting. Skills which fall under the XP-based method are construction, cooking, crafting, dungeoneering, farming, fletching, herb lore, invention, rune crafting, and smithing. First up, time-based methods. As it says in the title, the skills in this method are based on the amount of time it takes to do something, rather than the amount of XP you get. We measure this in server cycles or ticks. Ivy, it always takes 4 server cycles for you to attempt to chop, so your time value in this formula would be 4 for woodcutting on Ivy. Take the time value and then multiply it by your virtual level in the skill, then divide it by 50 million. In total XP in the skill, we add a flat 50 to your virtual level whilst doing the calculation. Our example for woodcutting and ivy at level 99 would then continue to be 4 times 99 over 50 million equals 99 over 12.5 million chance every time you swing your hatchet at the ivy with a rune hatchet at level 99.
Yeah.
And that is for the agility courses. Skilling pets are not rolled for every individual step of an agility course and are instead only possibly obtained when completing a lap. This is expected time to complete the lap. Onto XP-based methods. For the XP-based method, we care about the amount of XP you earn when rolling for a skilling pet. The value that we use in the formula is the absolute base value of XP before any bonuses are applied. Bonuses include, but are not limited to, skill outfits, bonus XP, clan avatars, invention perks, potion effects, auras, or equipment, etc. Once we have the skills and the base XP that you've earned in that skill, we then look at the pre-assigned modifier for the skill, which during development were determined to try and take into account the potential XP per hour players could earn in that skill. Here are the modifiers in full. Construction 30, Cooking 25, Crafting 20, Dungeoneering 25, Farming 12, Fletching 20, Herb Lore 45, Invention 180, Rune Crafting 28, and Smithing 20. Once we have the skill, once we have the skill, base XP earned, and the right modifier, we can look at the formula. What we do is divide the base XP by the modifier, then multiply it by your virtual level. This time, we add 200 if you have 200 mil XP in the skill for XP-based methods to get your chance out of 50 million. If I was 20 million in construction and I had just built a mahogany table, 84 over 30 multiplied by 120 plus 20 divided by 50 million equals a 14 in 78,125 chance when constructing a mahogany table at 200 million XP in construction. There's a slight difference when it comes to dungeoneering, however. We divide the base XP amount that you get in the end of a dungeon by the party size difficulty that you or your party leader selected at the beginning of the dungeon or dungeon run. So, for example, if you had selected a 5-player size dungeon at the start and earned 100,000 XP before bonuses, the base XP value in the formula would actually be 20,000. We hope that you've enjoyed this blog, and please remember that it will be the last for the time being. Through all of the bosses, slayers, oddities, and areas over the past couple of months, and we hope that you've enjoyed an insight into the drop rate of the game. Please continue to request information here on the forums, Reddit, or Twitter. If there are enough topics for a blog, we'll make sure to publish one in the future. Thanks, Mod Timbo and the team.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that basically the pets are a 1 in 50 million chance. Flat. Fires to
yeah, for every single activity. Yeah. Like you do, though.
Yes.
So, me getting the Slayer pet in the first hour, still pretty lucky.
Yeah. And again, that's multiplied by your XP, by your level, because you're already over level 99, you've got a multiplier there as well.
Yeah.
So all these multipliers bring them down. So, as I said there, it's probably more of a 99 in 12,500,000 chance. So say it's 100 in. So it's basically a 1 in 1.25 million chance.
Interesting.
At 99.
Can I get you to do another one?
You certainly can. Is this the Sky News
This is Sky News. Picking up on that sweet loot box controversy.
Yes. Loot boxes turning young gamers into gamblers. Virtual rewards can rack up bills of thousands of pounds and pave the way for young gamers to develop gambling addiction. Obviously from the UK when they're talking pounds.
Yep.
This is by Kate Spencer, who is the arts and entertainment correspondent. We say in-game rewards called loot boxes are introducing young people to gambling behaviours and even lead to them racking up huge bills. Now regulators and politicians are warning that the line between video gambling and gaming is becoming increasingly blurred, and new laws may be needed to prevent the promise of in-game rewards turning young gamers into gamblers through spending the time playing a game or bought instantly for real money. Opening a loot box rewards players with in-game items of varying rarity, but whether or not a player gets the item they want is ultimately down to luck. Put simply, when you buy a loot box, you are not buying a particular item in the game, you are buying the chance of getting that item. If you don't get what you want, you may well be tempted to pay for another go. Natasha Beasley is a massive video games fan. She says it's all too easy to spend a fortune without realizing the money's adding up. She said, I've seen people who don't have very much money spend way too much for a chance to get something. Sometimes I'll spend £30 a month and I might get one thing I want, but I'll regret the previous 5 because it didn't give me anything worth the amount I spent. Speaking from We Geek Gaming Utopia, a special event which includes gaming tournaments, she said it would be easier if the temptation wasn't there. It's definitely a gambling habit. It's the same as going in somewhere to gamble. It has a feeling of, I'm going to take a chance on this, she said. Satisfaction if you win, disappointment if you lose, but there's always a chance you could win it next time. Tim Miller, Executive Director of the Gambling Commission, says loot boxes are an area it is monitoring closely. We've been concerned for some time that the line between gaming and gambling is increasingly blurry, he said. It's harder for children and parents to understand which side of the line they might be on. We are taking clear action as a regulator to make sure we are patrolling that line so that if things cross over into gambling, we will take appropriate action. Many of these games will appeal to children, and that's fine, but if those games have mechanisms that allow children to gamble, that is rightly a concern. If it crosses that line into gambling, we will take action. And if it comes close to the line, as parents, it is so important that we understand those risks and that we take action to keep our children safe online. To date, the Gambling Commission's enforcement has been limited to a crackdown on the so-called skin betting websites, unlicensed sites that facilitate the betting with items awarded from loot boxes, but some legislators think it's time to look closer at the addictive features of the games themselves. Labour MP for Cambridge told Sky News, I think it either needs government action or it needs the industry itself to take some action because there is a real risk to young people. It's becoming addictive. We're hearing stories of people losing thousands of pounds quite quickly, and I think the industry can't sort it out, then it does need new legislation. And then there's more into there.
Yeah, that's
more links there.
that is really just interesting to see, because again, keep in mind this is coming from Sky News, a UK news source, with JAGEX being a UK company.
In Cambridge as well, this guy.
Yeah, like
Yes.
that's got to scare them a little bit. Do you think?
Yeah, I know. I think that's why we've seen over the last few months that they're sort of moving away more from that. One thing I would like to see them get rid of is once you've used your keys with that pop up, buy more keys. There's a chance here, and they show the rare items you can win.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I know you guys are a lot more against it than I am. I have no real issue with it, but that is of a little concern to me because it's if there are children there, and the game doesn't differentiate between a 14-year-old and a 24-year-old, and that at 24 you would be expected to, hey, you should be able to control yourself. If you can't, well, that's it. But at 14, kids really don't understand that, hey, yeah, I'll just keep doing this, and all of a sudden they've mum and dad's credit card.
Yeah
Bucks.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a level of not understanding consequence the younger you get, not understanding how money works the younger you get, and of course when you get older there's also individuals that have issues with impulse control, whether it be a chemical imbalance or just something that they like to do. It's a problem that can happen, and I don't think that these games that are coming around and doing those things that are helping in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not even really talking from a moral point. I'm more concerned that if this actually gets any legislation passed or anything, what happens to JAGEX?
I did forget
what
one.
happens to JAGEX is simple. They'll have to comply, otherwise they'll get fined something fierce.
Well, obviously, but wouldn't that crush the company? Like they'd be.
It would hurt them, yeah, if they did. I forgot one, the final paragraph there. I didn't realize there was a little bit more under the link. Yuki, the body representing the UK gambling industry, says gaming developers are doing nothing wrong and reject calls for new rules. The association told Sky News, loot boxes and the purchasing of in-game virtual items are already covered by and fully compliant with existing relevant UK regulations. Now,
yes, but
the most important thing there, existing relevant UK regulations. And with, as you said, with a lot of the things, and I don't think JAGEX are as much as a lot of some of the other companies I've heard of out there, but they do need to be making sure that they don't cross that line. And there are some, and we've even seen JAGEX one or two of their events which were pretty much straight out gambling machines.
After I'm I'm going to switch the order of two stories real quick because this one actually kind of feeds into this one. So I'm going to just switch the order of the next two articles. So Man I Was Cheated On, because that actually feeds right into this article. So I'll read. Keep in mind everything I just said and we just read, and we can then move into this post where we talk about, once again, this is exactly what they're saying in this article. Basically kind of happened to Magman here. So Magma Man, excuse me. We'll read the post here. It's just a small rant coming through. For some background, I don't play RuneScape constantly anymore and just got back a few days ago entering vacations. To me, invention is still a new skill and have no idea how it works. I love the hunter skill and am slowly working towards 120. Despite being almost maxed and having an old account, I still don't get PVM or have tier 90s. Today, December 14th, the Advent Calendar rewards the player with a piece of the Trapper outfit. I honestly didn't even know that existed. I only knew of the Ports outfit. I check out the Trapper bonuses and they seem pretty nice. With some daily challenge and D&D's keys I muster up, I managed to get a second piece of the set. Neat. So I use some of my spare cash to get a bond, and then another, and then maybe some cash from items I can buy back later. One round of addiction bank selling later, getting me around 75 keys, I have 7 items, none of which make a set. Yeah, I'm bummed out, but maybe I can kill Frosties for more bonds. No, I can't. The promotion only lasts one day. So I either pay up or consider those 100 mil of items a waste. And yeah, now I realize that's the bullshit. Then, looking further into the volcanic set, it allows the player to set an extra trap, and that's where my heart broke. I got played into compulsively spending a lot of in-game money and almost shelled another $30 for a feature that a decade ago as a kid, I would have hoped to be in the game. That could easily be added as one of the skill cape perks, locked behind an RNG paywall of almost half a year of entire subscription. Well, I get it now. Lesson learned. Not sure if I want to play RuneScape 3 and recover my losses or flee to old school RuneScape. So there's a few things wrong with this argument, of course, being that skilling capes, or these elite skilling outfits rather, are supposed to come into the game, right? There's been a little bit of a kind of a delay, but they never gave an exact time frame. They just said after 4 months we will begin. So it's been about 6 months, maybe coming up on 7. But yes, there will be. This outfit eventually will be in the game. It's just you're paying for the convenience of having it immediately.
And remember, with these outfits, a lot of work's been going into mobile, so there is a lot of delay on a lot of things.
Yeah. That's probably a lot of why we're seeing delays on a lot of things this year in general. Again, now this is funny because with this person, they were able to restrain themselves without spending real money. So good for you. But, they blew their entire bank and then some. They sold all their gear, chasing after this stupid set that they didn't even get, which just sucks. And I get it. I get why that maybe that's fun for some people, but this dude just wanted to buy a set of, of premium armor, and he ended up screwing himself.
Yeah, but he can he's obviously, if he's got everything, he can trade that with someone to make one of the sets. So
you're not wrong. It's just the moral of the story is that treasure hunter is inherently kind of dangerous to your anyone. You can fall victim to it in game, you can fall victim to it in real life, but it's addictive. The way treasure hunter is designed is addictive, and you need to be careful around it. And it's hard when the advert calendar, as I'm calling it now, leads you into it. You get that free piece from the advert calendar, and then you're like, oh, I didn't even know this existed. As this person just said, they had no idea the Trapper outfit existed. They had given one piece from the advert calendar. The next thing they know, they're broke. They got nothing left in game, and they almost spent their lunch money.
And that's one thing with the advent calendar. They said it's going to be tied in for each day, but it's bad enough when they only give you 4 days to get it. To have 1 day to sort of get it is a bit tough.
Well, they've been doing it this way for years now.
Oh, of course.
I see.
That's right. But they've never really tied it in previously advent calendars haven't tied particular items to particular days as much as they have this time.
They've been doing that a lot this year. Cool, because it works. I see Hannah is lurking there. Hello, Hannah. How you doing? Yeah. So anyway, continue on. Didn't mean to interrupt you there, but
no, I'm just saying. Yeah, no, I fully agree with this. And you've just got to be. And I implore everyone, before you go and spend that money on the bond to win that chance, do understand it is a luck-based thing. You are probably 75 keys is probably not going to be enough to unlock it. You are probably going to be looking 200 to 400 plus keys to get an entire set of something. So always keep that in mind. Unless you are extremely lucky, on average,
yeah, you got to know that going in.
Keys is what is going to be required. I think you did a video not so long ago on, I think it was the woodcutter one you were after.
Yeah, and I was using Hearts of Ice and everything to get that.
And you were what did you drop in the end? 6 bonds?
Oh yeah, like 6 or 7 bonds. Yeah. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I was in, you get that sunken cost fallacy, and it's hard to pull out of it. You have to kind of eventually accept the fact that you have lost. And that's the thing, is it's accepting the loss and walking away before that loss becomes a greater loss. And that is actually so hard. Good.
And just remember, yes, they'll eventually be coming to game, but also Vic the Trader, immediate last one, but from the one before that onwards backwards, you can trade bonus XP into him for missing pieces as well.
Yes,
and that way you can choose the bit that you want.
Anyway, I'm going to continue along. Just wanted to kind of cover those articles serially, since they kind of were somewhat related. Let's move into a much happier topic here. This made my heart want to just explode out of my chest. That's not because I have high blood pressure. That's because this post has just warmed my heart to such a wonderful level. It's called My First Experiences of RuneScape 2002 by the Green Guy 11. And he says, I started playing in early 2002, back when the main site had a game client for both members and the free-to-play website. Updates were generally every 2 weeks. This was before Tutorial Island, at the time where you could pick a starter class such as Adventurer and Warrior, which marginally changes your starting gear and stats. My friend who played with me from school introduced me. I thought he said Runescape, so I went to his house to see the game. He had an ancient PC, and it took 30 minutes to load on dial-up. His PC was that bad, too. He couldn't move from Lumbridge, where you started. Every hour or so, I'd walk back from killing goblins, and I'd say hi, and he wouldn't reply, and I'd get on with my adventure. We went to the internet cafe every week to play, which had some really high-level players. The internet cafe was also rife with real-world trading and keyloggers, so you'd risk compromising your account by going there. I remember Lady Killjoy patrolling the wilderness. She was above level 120 at the time, and although she couldn't attack me, which I didn't know at the time, I was very scared of her. Being 11 years old, my first issues were finding out how to light a fire. In Classic, you had to drop your log, then use the tinder box with the log on the floor. It took me around an hour's game time to figure this out. When trying to figure out how to use RuneScape Classic's game interface, how to open the general store, I tried everything, from trying to write out the dialogue on my screen, quote, "I'd like to see your stock, please." This took me at least a day to figure out. It's like, I can relate. I've done this. Like, that's just how you played when you're 12 years old, 11 years old, and you're playing,
especially coming from those text-based games like Adventure Quest and all that. That's
absolutely,
how you had to do it.
Yeah. So
throw salt on ice and all that.
Yeah.
I just brought back those memories to me. That's why I chuckled.
Yeah, I totally did stuff like that. This is so nostalgic for me. I love this. Anyway. NPCs could only be talked to once per person, which was difficult when sorting items, and it also made banking difficult. Some other newbie moments included the lack of an integrated world map. You had to load this separately, and it was rarely updated. Mid-2002, I introduced some friends of mine to the game. One of them brought every page of Tip.it printed to study, which, whilst in class, such as the fishing levels of fish, what you needed, where to go. I pretended I didn't know him that day. I remember doing Pirate's Quest. Being 11, I thought I'd be rich and never have to worry about money again. I was lost at Remington Mine. I had to go back to a pub somewhere, it was Varick, which I didn't know where this was. I was pleading with players to help me find the treasure, and I would split it with them, making them rich too. I was really disappointed when I found out it was just some gems. This is exactly my experience to a T. Another moment with quests in Classic was being a new player and going to the Dark Wizard's Circle. Nobody was attacking the demon. Delrith, he wasn't named in Classic on right-click, though. I tried rallying players to attack him. We could do 3 rounds each. We could beat him. When I plucked up the courage after 20 minutes, I realized he was a quest NPC. F my life. It was around the time I pressured a guy into selling me his bronze large helmet I needed to complete the set. I also convinced myself bronze was better than iron, because I couldn't afford iron. Fast forward around 4 months, my first run-ins with rares firstly were trading my rune full helmet, now a rune large, at the time for a red party hat. I begged the guy at Ardoin, which was a newly released with the thieving skill. The whole of Ardoin was really interesting, a new area. Likewise, the release of the Agility in December 2002 had 1,000 players all running laps around the Gnome Stronghold. Another iconic moment for me. The Grand Tree Quest felt 1,000,000 miles away, though. To give you perspective on prices at the time, when I started, a Rune 2-hander was the most sought-after item in free-to-play, and this was 1,000,000 gold each. Only players like Blue Rose 13X could make them. Members were lucky as the 2 dragon weapons in Classic, Battle Axe, and Longsword were 200k each. Rune 2-handers could be worth a few party hat sets apiece. It also took me around a week to find someone with 80 crafting to be able to make me a Dragonstone amulet. I believe it was Daverick who made it for me. LT Angel was far above any other crafter, though. Rune larges then were only dropped by greater demons, and to kill those, you'd have to brave the wilderness or kill them on Entrana Dungeon. I remember when the Dwarf Cannon quest came out. You had 1,000 players trying to reach a 1-spawn-only resource of the dwarf remains for the quest. Doing quests on release meant spam-clicking 1 tile for a drop. This was hugely frustrating, yeah. And trying to talk to the NPC once you pick the drop up, and you're just spam-clicking on the NPC because only one person can talk to him at a time, and then you finally get the dialogue to pop up, but you've been spam-clicking, and a few extra clicks click over, and you click out of the dialogue, and then you start all over again, and yeah. I had another run-in with party hats, which being 11, I generally gave them away to help friends. In total, I've owned around 4 sets and have none of them left. Again, I feel ya. But this was a moment the game would never forget. I believe it was November 2003, the infamous party hat dupe. I logged in one morning to an American friend of mine telling me someone had dropped hundreds of party hats in Varick, and noobs had gotten a hold of them all. At this point, pink party hats were 13 million gold. Sharks were around 1k each. I fished mainly. I went to school that day. I told 2 of my friends who I played with, and we spoke about our plan of action when we got home. When I got home, I traded a rune chain body for a white party hat. A rune chain was around 300k at the time. JAGEX said that they would be able to trace how the hats were duped, so I promptly sold my white. JAGEX couldn't trace the duped items, though. At this point, JAGEX realized that players used a cheat client which sniffed packets and changed the item ID when trading, basically trading something like oak logs and changing them to Christmas crackers. The people in question also duped dragon square shields, which was the highest elk value item at the time. I also remember late 2003, I was fishing one day, and a guy walks into the fishing guild called Zezima. Zezima. One of those. Zezima, right? Sorry. I never heard of the guy. Saying he just got 99 smithing. Or very high 90s, I don't remember. I thought to myself, who the hell is that guy? At the time, I only knew of the old knight. TKS was a legend for being at the top for so long, even after quitting to play another MMO. The rest was history with Zezima, though. His name always stood out. Classic culminated in the last quest being released in Legends. I believe the Mage Arena was the real mini-quest, and the only minigame RuneScape Classic was the Trawler, which was fitting with the deep sea fishing coming out in 2018. JAGEX started pumping resources into RuneScape 2. Updates were non-existent at this point. Players had the option of keeping their items in RuneScape Classic, or the default option of taking them to RuneScape 2. There was a poll for RuneScape Classic for bunny ears. Should JAGEX do a holiday event? We could have a pancake day, or JAGEX could focus on RuneScape 2. Players voted, and we got bunny ears. Back then, you had a system message, a black box, which said, "System message, Happy Easter," and the floor was scattered with bunny ears. The shift to untradeable rares was that JAGEX didn't want players complaining about missing out. I played with my sister at the time. After the first message, I kicked her off the computer, literally, and got my own ears. We'd watch each other and escape, and she quit in 2006, but it was fun playing the game with siblings. The RuneScape 2 beta only had a few areas to begin with. They were added as they were created. One bug in the beta was if you used an item with a cooking range, it would dupe it. Quickly patched, though. My favorite moments in the game, post-classic, have been Dungeoneering in 2010. Also, in January 2005, me and a friend of mine got a Dragon Chain drop, which was 30 million at the time. We sold that and bought 2 blue party hats, which I sold to Funter99 Fletching. Again, I sold rares stupidly always, and always have. But also a favorite moment of mine. My fascination with RuneScape didn't end. I continued from 2002 to 2012. I recently started playing again with RS Mobile coming. I look forward to seeing the influx of new players, as it happened with RuneScape 2 and Miniclip. I just thought I'd share my experiences. Good stuff. That really made me happy. I liked that story a lot.
There is the top post on my one from a guy called Magebit. Calls himself Magebit.tv, podcaster extraordinaire.
Never heard of the guy.
As a fellow classic era player, this post brought me much joy to read. I started playing when I was 12 in 01 and had many similar experiences. Thanks for the tale. So yeah, that's amazing. Some of that stuff, because I mean, you've told me about it before, but you sort of forget about it until you read it about it again. Not having experienced any of that.
Yeah, it's cool hearing the same like player names and stories from another human being, because there's not many people around, and those who are around don't really talk about it too much. So it's cool to hear like the name like LT Angel. I remember LT Angel. I remember Blue Rose 13X. I idolized Blue Rose 13X as a kid. I would literally wander around RuneScape as a kid just hoping to run into Blue Rose, and occasionally I would. You could generally find her smithing. Blue Rose 13X was the top smither in RuneScape Classic, first to 99 smithing, and the main producer of rune items. If you needed rune items made, that's who you went to. There really wasn't anyone else for a while, for at least a few months, you know, and probably longer than that. Time is so distorted at this point. When I look back on those things, it's hard to assign like how much. Like 2001 feels like decades, 2002 feels like decades, and then 2003 from 2012 feels like a split second. It makes no sense in my mind. It's really weird how time is distorted from like your younger memories to your you know, as the older you get, time kind of like makes less sense. I don't know. He would just see her and just smelt. Yeah, she would just be smelting. I wouldn't be smelling her. She would be smelting. Those were the days where I would role play a lot when I was a kid, you know. But we would just meet up with random friends and we would just hang out and role play together.
And smell people.
Yeah, just smell people. People get really stinky when they're doing a lot of you know, hammering. You get really stinky. Anyway,
dear.
I really loved that story. It brought a lot of good feelings, because, you know, it's crazy to think that I've been playing this game for 16 and a half years. When I tell people that who don't play RuneScape, when I tell people that who do play RuneScape, they're like, yeah, it's a long time. You know, if I knew about it back then, I probably would have too. But, you know, it's just like when I tell an outsider, a filthy casual, that I've been playing this game for almost 2 decades, they're like, what? How do you play a single video game for that period of time? It's like, well,
it's simple. I turn on the computer and there you go.
Listen, people smoke cigarettes for like 20, 30 years. You can play a game for 20, 30 years. It's an addiction. Anyway, here's an open kind of question for anyone on the show. I think everyone should have a stab at this. What would you think about this is how they describe it, and this confused the crap out of me the way they worded it. RuneScape speed servers. That could mean so many things. Is that like?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. But
Yeah, I was like, are those like premium high speed servers now that net neutrality is dead? Is that or is that speed as in the sense of like you got a speed run to like you only have a certain amount of time to do things, or do you have to be on meth? Like, what's the angle? I don't know. But
something tells me it's not about being on meth.
Oh, you never know. You never know. With the RuneScape community, you can never be too sure. So I see they say, hi, this is by Mira CZ, who says, hi. First of all, I love her thingy here. And I don't know if it's a her. Just Mira sounds like a female name. So I don't know. Check it out. That's awesome. I love that. Hi, what would you think if the official RuneScape introduced separate speed servers, for example, with 10 times rates on EXP and items, etc.? I personally would welcome it, as I don't have much time for regular RuneScape. So this is something that a lot of private servers do.
Exactly what I say. Private server.
Yeah, something a lot of private servers do is like you can pay money to get higher XP rates per hour, where so that's literally like you're literally paying to win. If they had completely separate, like this is the only way I would accept this idea is if there were separate high scores for these servers. Then whatever, I don't care.
Not able to use any of that equipment.
Oh yeah, no.
The regular game.
Yeah, totally. No, these would be completely separate servers, isolated like the plague that they are. I would not use them, but like maybe there'd be some people out there who don't have enough time to play RuneScape and just like that's what treasure hunters for. I mean, that's what JAGEX. Yeah, that's what JAGEX would like you to think. I didn't even see that. That's the top comment. Damn it. That's funny. I got
There's
the
already a
pulse.
speed server available. It's called Treasure Hunter.
Yeah.
Great minds, as they say.
Yeah.
No, stupidest idea I've ever heard.
I've heard worse.
Basically, speed server for people who don't get to play much. But then you and I, if you're going to get 10 times the XP and 10 times the...
Then everyone wants on that server.
We're going to be over there doing it. And we're going to be doing it your 18 hours a day, my 10 or 12 hours a day. And these people who only got their 1 hour a day to do, they're still going to be behind us. So it's, no.
Yeah, it had to be a completely separated, isolated server like Darkscape was.
Yeah.
I just don't think anyone would really be interested in it. Except for maybe like 30 people. Yeah, I think you'd see like 30 people on at any given time, but
which was about what Darkscape had in the end.
Yeah, I think it'd have a niche audience that wouldn't be worth the server upkeep, unfortunately. But hey, thanks for trying. A+ for effort. Interesting idea. Anyway, continuing on here. This one's by Grim Reaper. And it says, why do scammers get so defensive when you call them on your bullshit? I'll answer that question at the end. But here's the backstory. Had a random guy PM me this is a cool story in my opinion. Had a random guy PM me a few days ago and ask how I was doing. I already knew he wasn't on my friends list previously and had a good inkling what was eventually going to happen. So he eventually tells me how he's making 150 mil to 200 mil anti-scamming scammers. So I was like, yeah, cool. He logs. Fast forward to last night. Some random guy tells me he's going to do a giveaway for rich players, which is like the worst opening to a scam ever, by the way. This is like, come into my rich people giveaway. Like, what? So I play along with a while and eventually report him for scamming and move on. Tonight, the original guy messaged me and asks me if I had any luck anti-scamming. And I tell him what happened, and he proceeds to tell me I fucked up because I didn't end up with the dude's money. And this is where he got defensive, because I told him that I already knew about the scam and that it doesn't have anything to do with the telegraph spell, but the first trade and the wardrobe malfunction. He gets all defensive, saying how is a trade a scam, and then I'm just repeating stuff that I heard on the internet and yada yada yada. He would have done much better if he had agreed and said, oh yeah, but I have a way around that or whatever. TLDR, scammer got defensive when I called him out on his bullshit. Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, when you rip the disguise off of the scammer, that's all they have left is being, they're just trying to make a scene at that point so they can just distract it long enough for you to go away or forget about it. Like, of course, they're not really your friend. Of course they're going to get all defensive. You've stripped away their only layer of legitimacy that they've propped up for themselves. But I liked that story. I thought that was cute. It's just like, nah, man, I know what you're trying to do, you piece of shit. Get out of here. Played him for the long con, though. Like, wasted his time. I like it. But with that being said, disclaimer, never attempt to anti-scam. Anti-scamming is dangerous. Don't put yourself in that scenario. This is how you actually anti-scam. This is the true anti-scam. The true hero is the one who completely just does this to the person and, wastes the scammer just wastes their time. Love it. Anyway. Moving along here. Pern, would you like to grab this one from Denzu, the healer, in relation to bond pouches?
I will. He says, as far as I know, transferring GP between game versions isn't against the rules, but it is frowned on. Because it involves a lot of trust trading, the opportunity to be scammed so easily. People will always trade between games. But I believe I have a solution. What if we added a bond pouch to OSRS and then made bonds in a player's pouch appear on both games? That way you completely remove the option to be scammed. I believe this would also give players more of an incentive to try the other version of the game. It would also stop false bans, like the amazing player who got banned for transferring GP between games because the person he used to transfer was a real-world trader. Now, there is more to that story than, he just used them. He knew exactly what he was doing and who he was getting it from.
I'm not gonna speculate on that, but I do have I do have another post coming up after this post that I think is a very fitting transition. But I don't have a problem with this idea, but I don't really care either.
It probably wouldn't hurt the RS3 community too much, but I think it would value a lot of gold.
It might,
proper gold making methods in the other game.
Maybe.
Because it's hard to make gold over there. If I can just make all my money here, buy bonds, go over there, sell those bonds, have that cash.
I have a hard time having an opinion on this because I honestly don't know what the impact on the old school community would be.
Yeah. If he wants to do this, as long as they also introduce MTX over there.
Yeah, do it. More money.
Because that's basically what you're doing here.
What if we just do a switch?
MTX.
They take the MTX for a while. Like, we just switch it around. We do a Freaky Friday, and the MTX goes over to old school RuneScape for just like a couple of years, and we get all the good updates and no microtransactions. Can we have that? Can we do? Call me, JAGEX. I have ideas. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on this, which is why I'm, I'm kind of devolving into comedy because I don't know what else to say.
But also, by the one thing that you can do over on OSRS, I think, is the ability to buy bonds. If you can just buy them over here, which is much easier to make your GP buy the bonds over here than over there. That's
true. That's very true.
You're costing the company money. I mean, they're already going to start losing money with what they're going to have to do with loot boxes and such. You start taking away another source of income. It's.
But Pern.
I don't think it's.
But Pern. What about QV9_RuneScape? We could stop stories like this from happening ever again. This is a good one. He says, I guess swapping isn't safe anymore. Obviously referring to gold swapping here. And he says, yes, this happened to me and apparently a few other merchers, so here's what happened. It's a reasonably long read, but it's worth taking the time to hear my situation. Maybe something can be done. Just coming back off of a small break from RuneScape, my first few days went normally. A little background about the status that I've built in-game. I'm one of the biggest and well-known rare merchants in RuneScape 3. Lots of people know about me and go to me for business. Through merchanting, I've met a numerous amount of people who played both RuneScape 3 and 07. I've been asked by these people to swap since 07 was released, so doing a swapping service for these people was a no-brainer. I'm making a decent chunk off the GP, the swap, and they're happy with the swapping service. Win-win situation, right? Wrong. So a few days into my return, I meet a guy who asks me to swap his GP from old school RuneScape to RuneScape 3. Keep in mind, this guy is a staker, told me he won the GP at the arena, and wanted to exchange his 07 GP for RuneScape 3 GP. This is important to remember this going forward. Again, I make money off of merchanting the swap rates, so I conduct the business as I normally would. The swap consisted of 1.45 billion 07 in total, broken down into 3 trades on 07, 500 million, 500 million, and 450 million. The rate given to him was 1 to 1/6.8. I don't understand ratios, so whatever. So he received 9,860 mil, RuneScape 3 exactly, for his 07. All trades were done on the same account, QV9, and a review of the trade logs will confirm this. Whatever GP I received from 07, the equivalent was given to the person on RuneScape 3, meaning no GP was actually lost. Hence the word swap. So the transaction is completed, no problems. I chat in World 2 and rare trade for a bit, then sleep for the next day. So I get home the next day, I load RuneScape, try to log in, and see that my account has been permanently banned for real-world trading major. Mind you, it's also unappealable. Really? I've swapped for people for years, nothing changed at all. Everything I did for this swap is how it's been done since I first started. So I'm left wondering what actually happened to me. I talk with friends and even another mercher who apparently also got perm banned for swapping, so this isn't an isolated incident. After some research, I've noticed that a lot of old school players, such as gold farmers, staking Xers, and other shady people have been banned. However, not only are these people getting banned, but so are legitimate people who have come in indirect contact with these people through means of trading or whatever form of business it may be. It's as if whatever account can be linked to these banned accounts automatically get flagged and banned by the system, which probably led to my own permanent ban. Furthermore, if the person who swapped with me is a real-world trader, shouldn't the person who actually did the wrong get banned? I have no control over or knowledge of what the other person does with their money. I'm just doing regular legitimate business to make a profit. Banning my account because of the actions of a completely different person is just wrong. As I am confident on my innocence, I have nothing left to hide. All I want is a fair manual review. Everything can be seen, chat logs, trade history, go back as far as you like. It would prove that I did nothing wrong. I'm not associated to the person I traded with in any way from the swapping with me. To concentrate this approach, I am sure that my ban is connected to the swap that I did for that person. Like I said, 1450 million 07 was taken from 9,860 million RuneScape 3. Not a single GP left on my account, so to be charged with real-world trading is absolutely mind-boggling. I lost faith in a ban system that can't differentiate between an actual legitimate over a real-world trader.
Not a legitimate player, sorry.
As I have said, if I did happen to trade with a person who was legitimately banned, linking me makes 0 sense and is just flat-out wrong. I gain absolutely nothing out of real-life value, and again, as I've said, not a single GP left my actual account. Getting automatically banned by a system for someone else's action? Pretty big flaw, if you ask me. It just sucks to be lumped in to the same category as a real-world trade offender for swapping GP for them and doing what I thought was legitimate business. To conclude, what I'm asking for is a manual review and a ban placed on my account by a JMod. To the JMods and higher-ups who see this, I'm absolutely willing to cooperate with you and also willing to supply whatever info I possibly can. To further my claim of unjust chain banning, here is another story that they found. You're banning people quickly, and speed is good. However, when you ban legitimate players who unfortunately get pulled into the mix, I think you should at least review the situation. Any support is much appreciated. Hopefully, something can be done for me. So, Modbino, one of the support mods, comes in. They got 1,551 upvotes for this and 2 Reddit golds. So I assume that they did right by the community here. So let's hear the amazing...
Or all the bot farmers jumped on to back them up. So
here's the rightful solution. Modbino coming in to save this poor victim here. Just popping in to clear up some misconceptions. First of all, your account was manually investigated prior to being banned. We do not apply permanent bans for real-world trading automatically. We investigate every single one. Secondly, following the ban, your account was investigated again by 3 other members of my team, and we have all confirmed that the action taken was 100% correct. We have a lot of systems doing a lot of stuff in and out of game, and I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty details of how they work, but rest assured that regardless of how an account comes to our attention, it is thoroughly investigated manually by a team of people who know exactly what they're doing. I know that there is a fair amount of wealth still on your account, and that it is probably the one reason why you're trying to get it unbanned, so to avoid confusion, I'm going to be as clear as possible. The entire real-world trading investigation section of the ICU team have manually checked your account. We have determined that, regardless of your other activities, you are taking part in a significant amount of real-world trading. Your account will remain banned. Finally, to address your point about appeals, we have invested a significant amount of time into investigating your account and confirming our decision. Any appeal you submit would, of course, be checked by the experts, since they, as a group, are the ones who confirm the ban on your account. Why would they make any different decision at an appeal? I'm well aware that a proportion of the players reading this will brush off my comments aside as some sort of cover-up, while many of the rest will be happy that the complaint has been addressed, and that's fine. You are, of course, all entitled to your own opinions, but I am confident in the skills and experience of the team, and I know that the right call has been made here. There you go. Oh, God. My neck.
Layeth the smacketh down. I mean, sorry, Shawnee, you've just lost the top of the ladder for the best SmackDown of the year. That's got it. And again, yeah, love it. And these people who come on, I'm sorry, you're in a very grey area when you're doing swapping anyway. If you're swapping that amount of money all the time, I'm sorry, you've got to be suspicious, especially coming from old school where they have I mean, 50% of that is bots. I don't care what anyone tells me. I go over there sometimes, and the amount of bots over there is incredible.
Yeah.
And just love what he said here. They've done a full investigation. You are in with those real-world traders. I mean, just... No, I mean... confidence in their investigations on these type of things. I would say, yeah, on his RS3 account, he's got his money locked up in party hats and all that type of stuff, and that's exactly what he said. You want to get all those back? Tough. You did the wrong thing. You got caught. Suck it.
Thank you for the 500 bits, Fatty. Scared the shit out of me. Cheer 100, another great show, boys. Or cheer 500, rather. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. My ears, that is so loud. I love this so much, though. Yes, that was a great SmackDown. Yep. Definitely.
And I really do think they should just make... They are two separate games.
Mm-hmm.
Make GP swapping illegal, and if you get caught, you're done. And just make it a rule. It can't happen.
I think it's not illegal purely because they can't easily track it.
Oh, that's it.
I think if they could easily track it, I think they would make it illegal, because it should be illegal. I think it's a bad idea. At the very least, it's just you shouldn't participate in it, because this is possibly what's going to happen here. Yeah.
Tough titties.
Yeah.
I have no sympathy whatsoever for this guy. I just hope that they would take all the party hats off his account and re-release them on the GD.
No worries. It's old school RuneScape, so all the party hats are worthless there anyway.
Yeah, but I think it wasn't because he does it between.
That's true. He got banned. He got banned. Oh yeah, he's a rare trader. That's right. You're right. He got banned on both ends.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nah. Yeah, you're right. I hope they get tossed. That's how you get a max cash party hat right there.
That's right. Exactly. I can pay 2.147 bill for a party hat.
Anyway, let's continue on here. We got, oh my god, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have like 12 topics left to go here, and a listener question. This is coming from Ryan, who says, I want to know what you thought of the Twitch loot boxes for watching the stream, and if they should let other streamers use them. Keep up the great show. So, Pern, are you familiar with the Twitch loot boxes?
I am. I sat up to bloody 4:30 this morning, hoping to get my outfit, and I did unlock the pet, so I shouldn't complain too much. But I got a whole springs, which wasn't as bad as I think it was Fatty or Dr. Wolf, who got a spirit gem.
yeah, that's like the worst you can get is the spirit gem. Yeah, holy crap, was the I think I got 50 tight springs, and I got 50 tight springs last time too, so I'm all up in those springs.
But yeah. As in letting other streamers use them, no. Only official JAGEX
that could get
in my mind.
It depends on who we're letting them use. I assume like it would have to be JAGEX ordained streamers, not like anyone streaming RuneScape. If it's like, because if it was,
then,
imagine if it was just anyone streaming RuneScape, you could just give, just, all right, just go from RuneScape stream to RuneScape stream, just gathering Twitch loot crates. That'd be crazy. If it was like a few, and that's also like streamer favoritism, being like, hey, that's saying like, this streamer, you get a loot box for watching. But well, and to be fair though, and this is a little bit of streamer favoritism, but it's not necessarily bad. But I've seen the official RuneScape channel hosting random RuneScape channels after the stream. They've just been like selecting random RuneScape streamers that have like a few hundred people and just sending thousands.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's in that regard, it'd be okay because it's on their own channel.
Yeah.
As long as it's on their own official channel, that's fine. But not like, if friends decide I'm going to log on and
anytime they want,
whatever. Yeah, and I'm just going to give you all loot boxes. No, that's and then I jump on and go, no, you don't have enough followers. We're not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I don't particularly.
I don't. As I just said, if it's on their own official one, or even if it's their mods who have their, they go home and do some. We do sort of know that they can get into trouble doing that. One guy lost his job for getting drunk and promising to show something on stream that he shouldn't have.
Yep, it happens.
But if they're using their own official channels at home, maybe those guys. But certainly not any random streamers.
Speaking of drunk.
Yeah.
Let's move along to our next post here. Server submerge. I'm going to just read this as it's written. And
oh, yes. Sorry, I remember this.
Yeah, we're going to just go with it. This is by Aquarine, I think, is the best you're getting out of me. The Witch King, who says here, Server submerge. Why can't both players submerged into one server? With this, I mean old school RS playing in one server. RuneScape 3 would not access new old school RS content, and and RS 07 would not access RS3 content. All content created before adding old school RuneScape servers would be shared. Players would need to select from menu if they want to play RuneScape 3 or old school RuneScape. Wilderness is already dead, so adding more EOC will solve both game mode wieldy conflict. Why can't it be done? That's a great question.
It's like a random. Someone's just had one of those AI things to write a sentence and just put in the RuneScape wiki, bang, go for it. That's what it spat out.
Yeah, it really does. That is exactly what this sound. Yeah, this is one of those speech. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. We had Zenel produce one for us a while ago. Oh yeah,
he does.
Rage Paragon. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you read that one.
It was like Rage Paragon's just like, computers tend to dislike water. Server submerge. I like it.
He answers, Dilbert says, it takes too much time and money to make that, or better yet, such time and money can be used to make a brave new version of RS, such as RuneScape Remastered. Witch King's reply, how it take too much money? I mean, Zaya and Fossil Island are only new content what JAGEX need to transfer copy-paste. And secondly, why make everything from scratch if most content exists? RS07 content is already existing in RS3. Everything else would use NXT client plus old school RS.
I'm very confused.
Graphics update what they have been asking ages in old school forum section.
Are they trying to merge the two games? Is that what they want? Is that what I'm to understand here?
I think so.
I'm very confused.
Different graphics, totally different engines.
Yeah,
the NXT engine, which is everything's done.
You and I understand that, but like,
why can't they just copy and paste Zaya and Fossil Island across to RS3? Because I want those here now.
I mean, so this is, I guess, what I'm going to take away from this post is that, this opinion exists. Like this thought pattern can happen, and this is why.
I think. Let's be honest. English is obviously his second language, so I think he just meant server merge, not a server submerge. So he wants the two servers merged.
I think I think it's a fundamental misunderstanding of how the technology works and why that there needs to. I think they want one unified game, but that can't happen just because the technologies are not cross compatible. I guess that's where they're trying to go with that. It's just it's very hard to piece that together. But anyway, we'll continue along here. This one is called RS Old and RS3 Multi-Login by Julio Angel. Or Ansel, rather? Anyway. JAGEX, what the problem? RS3 and RS Old are separate games. What the F? Please, I need play RuneScape 3 and Old at same time, same account. Change it, JAGEX, please. Oh my god. What the problem? Membership? Okay, separate membership for RuneScape 3 and RS Old. I pay. Wow.
Again, someone who doesn't understand.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I kind of think that they should do. I understand the technical limitations behind doing that. It doesn't make much sense that it exists beyond the fact that it's a technical limitation of an antiquated system. Like, you would think coming from anywhere else, you come into like RuneScape from another game, you'd be like, why can't I use one account to log into all of your services? That's silly.
Well, you can, just not at the same time.
Just not at the same time. Correct. Yeah. And I guess when you
technically, technically, I mean, the game is designed to be playing, one character, one screen at a time.
Yeah.
Your character is existing here, shouldn't be existing on another plane doing something else. But I mean, I sort of lines of it. Yes, I'd love to be playing this account on old school as well as this. Doing if I'm just doing something boring at the time and I just want to sit here doing the channel riffs on RS3 while I'm doing some quests on old school. Yeah, that'd be nice, but as we said, it's a 15-year-old game. It would probably take a lot of updating, and it may be something that does happen in the future as we move away from Java and as things do improve. But it's not anything that's going to be happening anytime soon.
Our next poster was excused of using a third party.
No, couldn't even type it properly.
Local file
says... It
says...
was a locked one too, so...
Yeah.
I was happy it stayed there. I took a screenshot of this one just in case.
Hello. I just found out my alternative account got banned for using quote-unquote illegal third-party software. Sorry, but I had to laugh. Then they quote JAGEX's rules about third-party software. I've never used such a thing. I'm playing on the official OSRS client. I'd like to get in touch with someone who has the power to sort things out. Check the account logs and you can see I was using the official client. I post this on the official Reddit as well, so do not get confused when you see this thread. Why, thank you. Yes.
After he quoted their terms, it says, if and only if this is true, as in checking my account, JAGEX, make sure you check your systems because it's failing you. I was fishing at the Barbarian Village for quite some time before getting my fire-making level to 75. After that, I had a good conversation with the people around me at Barbarian Village who can vouch for me that I was not botting or using illegal third party. Because you can't sit there and just type while your software is doing all the action for you.
The good people of Barbarian Village have his back.
That's it.
But will the courts believe a barbarian's word? That's the true socio-economical fight here.
It looks like he has actually had it reviewed. He's put in there because the team has reviewed the evidence and confirmed that he was using illegal software. So, yeah, just because you're sitting there talking, mate, doesn't mean that that hides the fact that you're...
Yeah, don't bot. Don't bot, kids. Pets from the Christmas event. Just to confirm again, I kind of said in the title, but yes, you can get pets from the Christmas event. There you go.
One of the few that these limited time events that they've actually allowed the pets to drop from there.
They're loosening up their...
Take advantage of it. Yeah.
This one coming from Not Ready Yet, who says, more player moderators. Hello. I've been playing this game for 12 years now, and this is my play. No, in all those years, I've seen a lot of PMods, but in the last 3 years, I've only seen 3, and they were in old school RuneScape. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of dicks in game. Well, you should probably install some antivirus software then, because it sounds like you're getting porn pop-ups. People who are rude.
I didn't even think of that. That's good.
People who are rude, curse, and people who are basically ruining the fun for other players, and I want to control them. No, by saying things that trigger other people to get mad or get demotivated to do certain things in game, because, you can't just turn off public chat. There are a lot of nice players on this game. Stand by the GE and Ask for a chat, and you will have a nice chat with whoever wants to chat. Well, maybe. As I said, lately I've been seeing more people that are just assholes. I cannot explain this very well. They just are not nice people. If I could, I would have given out numerous amounts of mutes and 1-day or even 3-day bans. Yes, now we see why you're not a player moderator. Because just because your feelings are hurt is not an excuse to ban someone from the game. It feels like JAGEX does less and less about these people. I've reported well over 300 people by now, and it feels like nothing changes. Geez, according to our guide to becoming a player moderator, this person should have been given it by now. Or I just keep seeing the same people. Everyone has a bad day once in a while. Yeah, and you were going to ban them for it. You can work around that. But some people chose to have bad days. What? Almost every day. What an excuse!
Yeah, I chose to have a really bad day today. So
when you're,
it's my fault. Anyone here in the Patreon will know what happened to me earlier today. I chose to do that because I chose to have a bad day today.
All right. First of all, yeah, think of the player moderator position as like a player counselor, right? Like they're kind of like the counselors of the community. That's what, at least that was the original intention. They're supposed to be kind of like mediators. If you were interviewing for a professional mediator job, and you said, and they gave you a scenario, and you were like, what about if someone has a bad day? And you're like, well, you choose to have a bad day. You're not getting that job. You're not getting that job. It's not going to happen. So you're going to walk out of that interview, maybe with your head held high, but that phone call's not coming in later. I'm sorry. Those are the people I'm talking about, they continue on saying. They choose to be dicks and assholes. Again, check your antivirus. I know for sure if a JMod was present when I saw certain players say things, they would at least mute them for 1 day or even ban them for 1 or 3 days. Some players just cross the line and they get away with it. But if you elect me...
Here comes the whole reason for this post.
Yeah. Now, if you thought this was merely just a request for more player moderators in the game, no, it never is. I'd like to be a player moderator, just so I know that more people can enjoy the game and not have to deal with people who don't fit in with the community. Wow! He wants to be a player moderator.
Borderline racist.
Yeah, it's like... that's what he thinks a player moderator is. That's why we have so many shootings in this country by police. Like, he's the reason. Like, that's not what authority is for. That's not the purpose. A player moderator is there to keep the peace, not ban people left and right because they said something silly or stupid. And yeah, people say stupid shit all the time in general chat, but your first line of defense is to block them. Like, unfortunately, player moderators cannot keep up with that sort of thing, and they shouldn't be expected to unless you're going to put them on the payroll. If JAGEX wants player moderators to take an active role in policing chat to that degree, and I'm not the one to say whether or not the JAGEX should or shouldn't do that. I'm not making that case right now. All I'm saying is, if you expect that level of service from player moderators, then you have to pay them. That is a job, because there is so much in chat that would fall under that blanket of moderation. You could never ask a human being to do that. That's why we have Chat Watch. That's why we don't see. It's why you don't see new player moderators coming into existence, because a player moderator is way more likely to do something stupid than do something good. Like the payoff is so far from the risk that it's just not worth giving humans this power. I mean, Not Ready Yet is the perfect example as of to why we don't hand out player moderator anymore.
He's definitely not ready yet.
Yeah, his name says it all. He is not ready yet. Some people have dead days, but they choose to have bad days. Go fuck yourself, buddy. You don't choose to have a bad day, and the fact that you think you're a qualified mediator after saying something like that just speaks to your own ignorance on the subject and to why player moderators are a bad idea. Anyway, that was a mic drop moment right there. Go ahead.
No, you got to finish it because the rest of it's good.
Oh, is there more? Okay, sorry.
No. Where he says, because you said I'd like to be a moderator.
Oh, yeah, and then I went off on a rant. Okay. I'd like to be a player and moderator, just so I know that more people can enjoy the game and not have to deal with people who don't fit in with this community. I'm good with people. I'm excellent with people who cross the line. I ban the shit out of them. Just like, I just want...
Throw them down and kick the crap out of them until they're unconscious.
Yeah. I am excellent with people. I'm so good at people. Like, I'm afraid what I'm good with people actually means in his mind. Like, put down the billy club. I just want to make sure that people who are ruining the community get punished for it. They do.
I can just imagine him as one of the thugs down in the Rogues Den with the billy club, just blackjacking, just walking up and just blackjacking all these players that he doesn't like.
Yeah, so they can. I mean, this person's got a lot of anger, clearly, and I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Public chat is disgusting in a lot of places. Turn it off. Just turn it off. When you're in one of those places, turn it off. Join a clan chat. Join a friends chat. You know. Private chat, public chat, in some places is fine, but it gets toxic in a lot of places, and that's just not much. It's almost impossible to moderate, without, basically. I don't even know.
Someone would have to be there 24/7, and that's all their job is just trying to moderate and ban these.
And that's what friends chats are for. Like, if you want a moderated chat environment, find a friends chat that fits your. Your alignment. Find a friends chat that will not, hurt you personally, and turn off the hurt. Like, don't read public. That's what I've had to do, at least. I only turn on public chat when I am basically trying to, like, figure out where a portable went or something. If I can't get in portables chat, and now that I have the spreadsheet, don't even need that anymore. Like, it's just you're looking for a bad, and that's sad because it didn't always used to be that way, but. On the flip side of that, all of the good talk, all of the good discussions that used to be in public chat, because there were no other places to have them except over PM. It was PM or public, and that was it. Back in the day when you had good public chat, it's because that's where everyone had to chat if you wanted to have a multi-way conversation. Once friends chats came into existence, I mean, originally it was clan chats, right? Clan chats weren't really clans. They were just chats. They were friends chats before friends chats came along. But let's just use friends chats because I think more people are probably comfortable with that term. When friends chat came along, that's where the real chat went. And that's why all you see in public chat is literally just the muck left from people who didn't go to, to constructive niche chats to, you find whatever your niche chat is. If you like fishing, you may be a World 89 Fishers friends chat or something. Like, all of the good fishers went into a friends chat. So now all you're left with in general chat are just people screaming, swear words and obscenities. And that's not because we've evolved into some sort of horrible society. It's because all of the good chats have been given more private, comfy places to happen. Anyway, that's my take on it, at least. I could be completely wrong.
I just want to read the last line. I just want to make sure that people who are ruining the community get punished for it so they can reform and learn the proper way of how to behave on this game.
If you've been banned...
Where can I apply for PMod status? Sincerely, a wannabe moderator. Also, I'm looking for a job. Hire me?
Oh, God. It gets even more pathetic.
I know. That's also I wanted to get
Oh, no. I mean, I crack that joke all the time, but I don't go begging on the farms for a job.
I know. Yeah, that's it. And you're actually someone legitimately who probably could work there,
After looking at the expectations of content production in 2017, I could absolutely work at JAGEX. Yes, I love Christelle's response. Just RF roll on the floor laughing. You want more PMods in game, and then you say you want to be a PMod. No one can apply to become a PMod.
That's right.
I want someone to just call him out on that comment of being like, you choose to have a bad day. Anyway.
Okay, moving on to the next one from Oral402.
Take it.
Who plays with the Java 1.7 client?
I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. Like,
I think it's an older.
Is that like older than the one they serve on the website? Like, what is 1.7?
Like Java, I think we're at like Java 10 or something. I don't know, but he plays on the really old one.
Let me see. Anyway,
I'm
continue.
using the Java 1.7 client, and since once the Java client collapsed, I have things no needs to be like. For example, people in the FL, you can see reduced and not the full name. And the arrow of the mouse looks different in things. No needs to be ECT. I tried reinstall the client. It didn't fix the issues. Don't tell me to download the NXT client. I'm not interested.
Then every comment is download the NXT client, and that's it. But no, but it's Scott River actually just like, I can fix your problem. There's a little bar, just drag it out on your friends list. This is not a client problem. This is an interface problem that you've created basically for yourself. Although, you know, sometimes it collapses and you just have to drag the thing back out. There's a tiny, barely visible bar there that has to be dragged out, and that's their problem. But they're blaming it on the Java client for some reason. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, that's I mean, you know, I'm sorry. It's time. Java 1.7 is a really
Point
old
being,
version.
it's not even they're blaming NXT, and it's not even NXT's fault. But anyway,
yeah, that's right. But yeah, I had a good chuckle over that one. I had to throw that in one for the.
It's a good one. Oops, just logged.
Yeah, here comes probably my favorite post of the day.
Dun, 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 the multi-logging post. Ah, yes.
The multi-logging.
This is Bitey Bunny who says, "Hello, we are many. We are many."
My air quotes are yeah.
Oh goodness, we are a small. I just wish I could like throat sing multiple voices. We are a community. We are the Borg. We are the Hive community of RuneScape players. 12 members.
Just imagine the air quotes around the we. Yes.
12 members, and we meet to play at my place. Everybody with his own laptop. We have noticed that when we check our IP, it's the same for everybody. We mostly elk and stuff in chat. We have noticed that multi-logging is allowed, but in this case, we don't want to fall under the gold farmer rules, since we have the same IP and are producing a lot of GP. We are connected on the same network and meet almost every day, and we play for hours. We need a JMod to solve this problem because we do not want to all get banned. Methinks ye doth protest too much.
Yeah, because the same 12 people every single day all log on at exactly the same time and all log off at exactly the same time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, no one ever gets sick. No one ever has anything to go to. It's all 12 of us every single day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they might be omitting some details here, and this 12 yes. might actually be one person.
He's a junior gold farmer. He's just starting up his
you know, and the thing about it,
his farm. He's just got the one paddock going at the moment, but he wants to expand out.
Even if he is 12, even if he does play 12 different sessions, as long as he's not botting them, he actually can do that. It's just sad. Just like, you know, you just, is that how you want to spend your life? Sure, go ahead. But if they're bot clients, then we got a whole different problem on our hands.
And the other thing is, reason you're doing that is what even worse than botting is then the real world trading you're going to be doing with that gold you're making.
Yeah, that if you're going to sell the gold, that's a whole other problem. Yeah, don't sell the gold if it's for your. So that's the thing. In my mind, my innocent little RuneScape mind, I was like, yeah, I'd love to have all that money from 12 accounts to invest into my main account. But yeah, that's actually what's happening, right? Is you'd be selling that to gold farming website. I'm a dumbass.
You might have one or two.
I wanted all the gold. Give me the gold. What?
I mean, I know people have an alt who just sit there and they basically farm divination and then just give all the energy to their main account. So that, you know, that's fine. I mean, you want to do that type of thing. I mean, even that I think is a bit of a grey area because it is boosting your main account, but I don't think it sort of hurts that much because they're then using it to to create their charges or whatever they need to do. But yeah, it's 12. You're not legit, dude.
I don't know if I can handle this next post. You wanna read this next post?
Oh yeah, I'll read it. This is called The Combat Rework by Ivory Shots. Hey, EOC was a pretty good idea, to be honest. Problem is not in the abilities. Actually, I like some of them. That's why I use EOC sometimes.
I just saw it as a poll. It has a poll. It has a poll, and none of the options are no. The poll is 100% in favor. You cannot vote against it.
No, that's why I wanted to put that in there. Reason why people hate it is that abilities are too many. We like when gameplay is simple. I think most of abilities should be removed, and most damage should be done with the old combat system. Abilities should be used to give some boost to old combat system. And then he has a poll.
This poll has one more vote than it should have. And I think it might be him.
Yes. I mean, in all honesty, I was down at... I did a test at Dark Beast using Revolution++ and Legacy. Guess which killed the Dark Beast faster?
Which one did? Plus?
No, Legacy actually did EOC++, Revolution++.
Maybe you're
That is wrong. That is totally
wrong.
This buff that they recently gave it, they gave it a 30% damage buff. That's way too much. That's hurting where you want people to go. You want them using the real game, and Legacy is a fallback from OSRS. You know, this is the type of people who want that. Yeah, he wants a couple of the abilities, but he just wants to sit there using Legacy combat.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
it just doesn't. It just sounds like a worse version of EOC. Is what this sounds like. And looks like. They made a graphic for it and whatnot. Like, sorry, can't get behind it. Sorry. I mean, I also have nothing. There's nothing RuneScape could do without completely reworking their combat engine for me to be like, yes, that is a worthwhile change. I'm so far in the other direction as far as how I would have a point-and-click RPG perform combat that I got nothing. I got nothing to say. I'll continue on with the advent calendar problem, though. Or as again the advert calendar. This is by T-Sports53, who says, I admit getting free presents is always nice, but there comes a point as to why can't we choose? For example, either you can have this unowned piece of gear or a star. Gear is either good or bad, useful or non-useful. There are people who don't care about collecting certain gear combos for various reasons. Perhaps either it would be of use to them, or they would never put it on, let's say. Here, you force the choice. So you give us some gear we care nothing about when we could really want something useful, such as the star. This is a reasonable issue that needs to be addressed. Yeah, it's almost like when you get a gift, you don't get to choose what it is.
No, I'm sorry. This year at Christmas, I'm taking. I bought my parents. My mother loves her bath, so I bought a nice bath pack, or I've got $100 note for her.
It's like, yeah, like one or the other. Your choice.
It's like, yeah, it's a.
You can't take the $100 though. Once you open the box, you don't know what's in the box. You can take the box. Yeah, this is how I'm gonna do gifting from now on. I'm going loot crate or cash out. You take the loot crate, or you can take the $100. I'm gonna microtransaction my friendships.
Yeah, I like Vasef. Has got the short and sweet. The issue is addressed by titled Snowflake, and be thankful you got anything at all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's just a gift. Like, why do we have to, like, oh, I don't want this gift. Oh, I'm complaining about a gift.
There's another one, Arcblade KB. Free stuff, please, becomes free stuff that I specifically want, please.
Right. That's 2017 for you. It's not just free stuff, please, anymore. Oh God, let's wrap up here. We got one more. We got one more post to go here. This is entitled "Quote Unquote Authenticator," and it's by XX R3D Link XX, straight out of the '90s. Let's do this. Can we really call it that? Authenticator? I mean, seriously, I have been hacked twice now. The first time I didn't have Authenticator. Second. All right, well, let's not talk about the first time then, shall we? The second time I did. I just lost my Sarah Godsword and the rest of my valued items, including all the gold I had earned, and this game doesn't seem to do anything about it. You go in there, site-click account issues, and then click hijacked account. From there, you get routed to change your password, and it's recommended to check your computer for malicious software. Both times I had checked with a full boot scan, and then when you look around for a way to contact them, there just isn't a way. Just sorry for good luck getting your stuff back after you had already worked hard for everything you had. The authenticator does no good if a person can just disable it, because that is exactly what happened. Well, I mean, you have to also like put authenticator on that email address that you're, you know, I don't know, using to protect the game. Like, people don't think all the way through sometimes. It's like, you can arm your car alarm and then leave a door unlocked, and then, you know, someone can open the car, the alarm goes off, but like, if the keys are in there, they can just take the car anyway, right? Even if the alarm's going to go off eventually, and then they got your car. It's the same idea. You got to full security. Got to lock your doors and arm the alarm. You know, like, you got to have a full understanding of your security here.
Joel has told him about making sure his email is safe and secure, and then he answers underneath. Do you just want to read that one out too?
Sure. We shouldn't have to have our accounts so secure. I've had no issues in any of the games I play until this one. I mean, yeah, there's no one trying to hack and steal your Witcher 3 account because it's not online. It doesn't have a real economy. There's no black market associated with it. Any game that has an underground black market associated with it has this problem. And in fact, like, the more your game has this problem just speaks to how healthy your game is, if it has a thriving black market. Not saying that's a good thing, I'm just saying for a black market to even develop says that your game's pretty healthy. JAGEX needs to be tracking these hackers' IPs and banning them from the servers, and have a service for recovery of things they have stolen from us. We pay to play on here and get some jerk hacking accounts and taking everything you worked hard to obtain. Yeah, just like in real life.
Yeah, the problem with that is that that jerk who has stolen your account immediately goes and converts those items to gold and then transfers that off. Now, the items that you have lost, someone has gone to the GE and bought legitimately. Yeah, your idea there would be to then start punishing the people for buying stuff on the GE? No. Secure your account. And as you said, we've got a healthy game. I mean, you know, it's up to you to keep all your stuff secure. Yeah, if you let your email get hacked and then they hack your... And
if I don't lock my doors... Yeah, go ahead. You wish there was a better way?
I was just saying, I wish that there was a better way that, you know, when you do have a hacked account, to turn off Authenticator. Yeah, I wish there was an extra level of security for that. And, you know, maybe have another password that you have to enter to turn off the Authenticator once it's been recovered or something. But... in all honesty, if you've got a secured email account and a secure authenticated account, there's no way that you should be hacked. A very, very, very rare chance.
So, when I was a kid, we used to, I used to play with neighborhood kids, go over their houses and whatnot. I would never lock my door because I'd be coming home and, just figured, no big deal. I'm right across the street. No problems. So I'd leave my door unlocked, go over to my friend's house, play video games. And I did that pretty much every day until some neighborhood kids realized that I was doing this. They were, they weren't my friends. They were other kids, a little rougher crowd, if you will. And they waited for me to go and, hang out to my friend's house. And then they went in my house and they stole all my video game consoles. Now, little did they know, we had cameras all over the house, and I guess it was a little more rare back in the early 2000s to have that type of stuff. Nowadays, it's pretty common, I guess, but we got them on tape, and I knew where they lived, so we just went to their house, and, we're like, listen, you can give these back, we have you on camera, or you can get the police involved, and they gave them back. But you can better guess what? Like, what did I do after then? I locked my doors every time I went out to my friend's house. Yeah, it sucks when shit like that happens, and that if I didn't have those cameras set up, those items would have been lost forever. It's all about security. Not being your maximum level of security is only on you. And unfortunately, sometimes it takes a disaster to get yourself into a mindset where you think you even need the maximum level of security. But shit happens, and when you're unprepared, it sucks, but it gives you a reason to be prepared in the future.
Yep.
Anyway.
I just want to say he has one final post on the second page. Where he says,
does, yeah.
People keep saying it's my fault. How is it my fault? My computer is 100% secured. Been through several boot scans to check every file on this computer for malicious software, spelled with a T. On here, I just sit back and relax and work on my skills. I had Authenticator set up. My password is unique to this account. How is it my fault someone wants to be an asshole and ruin my fun? take everything I work for hard to obtain and just totally ruin the game for me. JAGEX needs to step up their security, require authentication like Battle.net and Steam does, and have a recovery system for any items lost.
So what we're seeing here is just a gross misunderstanding of security, because they're they're bringing this to be akin to how Steam or Battle.net does, but it literally does. It is literally exactly the same. If you try to log into your Battle.net or Steam account, it sends an email address to you, an email to you with an authentication code. Or if you have Steam Guard on your phone, you can have it do it that way as well. But point being, if you lose your phone, it reverts to that email. So it's really only as secure as the email, because anyone with access to your account can revert you back to email. So it goes back to email being the last line of defense. So it's in any scenario, whether it's Battle.net, Steam, or RuneScape, your last line of defense is still that email account. So authentication needs to be enabled, otherwise you are leaving a gaping hole in your security. And to say that you don't understand how it's your fault after people have explained that to you is the equivalent of jamming your fingers in your ears and saying la 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 la, because you're just not listening at that point.
Yeah.
As Lord Bucket says, did you or didn't you add Authenticator on your email? Don't tell me you did, because if you did, you'd have some serious security issues that you need to fix ASAP. Like, the person has physical access to your computer. They're in the house right now. Get out. Run. Call the police. You're going to be murdered. Anyway, I'm going to pimp that Humble Bundle one more time if you are a creator like myself. $20 American dollars to get a copy of Vegas Pro. All the features in Vegas Pro, edit except for being able to master and burn Blu-rays and DVDs. Everything else is there. So it's a $400 value right there in this Humble Bundle. And remember that a portion of your purchase goes to support Child's Play and the Freedom of Press Foundation. You can choose your own as well if you want to support a different charity. There's tons of charities that Humble Bundle works with. I love Humble Bundle, and this $20 bundle not only gets you Vegas, but it also gets you some royalty-free music, a Music Maker 80s edition plugin for Magic. I don't keep the Magic software on my computer. Most of this looks like it's from Magix, except for Vegas. I don't like Magix because it likes to pop up on your computer telling you about all the fantastic deals it always has for you. So actually, I would say pretty much you are just paying $20 to get access to Sony Vegas here. So,
and Web Designer Premium?
Again, made by Magix, which I just don't like them as a company. Yeah, I look in the top right-hand corner. It says Magix.
Oh, okay. I just saw Zara down the bottom. So yes, I see that.
I don't like Magix as a company. But
if I buy this, if I buy this because I want the Sony Vegas Pro, my son loves his hip hop and he's actually quite good at it.
Yeah,
that hip hop music maker, can I then put that onto his computer?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with Magic software. I just don't. I find software that puts little like trade notification pop-ups on a regular basis to be just an egregious breach of my personal space, and it just annoys the living shit out of me. But you know, there's nothing wrong with the software. That's just me personally. Anyway, anything else? Anything you or is that it? Are we good to go?
I know I am good to go. Once I get off here, I'm going to hold you on here for a moment because I want to buy this and I want to make sure I do it properly.
Sure.
I've never done one of these before, so yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Cool.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. It has been a nice long show. If you want to hear... I mean, this show saves me so much mentally, and you listen to the Patreon if you want to sort of hear my issues for today. But I will also, if I can, just pimp out the RuneScape Bits and Bytes,
Sure.
the other podcast that Shane runs. I will actually be a guest host on that in about 5 hours' time, or 4.5 hours' time. So I'll be over there as well.
Nice. So for the first time in a while, there's a reason to listen to RSB&B, so head over there. Make sure you catch Pyrn. I jest, of course. No, that's awesome. I looking forward to hearing you on that episode as well. And I hope you enjoyed this show as well. And of course, if you want to hear another hour entirely previous to this one right here, I can check the exact length real quick for you. But yeah, we did a pre-show.
Lots of DX on the pre-show.
Lots of DX in the pre-show, yeah. So if you're a DX the LB fan, and you know he pitters out by the time we start the actual show, being it late in the early in the morning. But yeah, it was a good pre-show overall, I think, and I'm just stalling at the moment to figure out where I put it. Today's the what?
And also, actually, I might also ask if people do like my idea for the art. Please go over and give it a like on Reddit, because I'd love to see the mods look at it and maybe give a response to it, because it's something I am passionate about. It is longevity of content in the game, and sort of more things that we can create ourselves or unlock ourselves and have unique uses for.
Yeah, definitely. So the pre-show was 1 hour and 10 minutes, so over an hour long in the pre-show. If you are interested in that, you can go to patreon.com/RuneScape, and you can pledge any amount you want to help out the show, help keep us going, keep it online. And you will get access to all the Patreon pre-shows, and depending on how much you pledge, you may get access to a ton of other content as well. You can check out the reward tiers to see what was there previously. We're going to rework the reward tiers in January with all new stuff coming, so stand by for that. In the meantime, you can pledge whatever you'd like just to get access to these Patreon pre-shows, and we'll be back with a fully reworked archive and everything for January. So if you want to get access to the previous Elite shows that we were doing and stuff like that, there will be a package for that and a package to support the new stuff and all that stuff. So that's coming. But in the meantime, right now, you just get access to the pre-shows at any amount you want. So patreon.com/RuneScape. If you want to get access to our social media, we got a Facebook page for you as well, facebook.com/RSWeekly. Twitter for you as well, @RSWeekly over there on Twitter. Join our Discord as well for 24/7 chat, discord.runeweek.com. You can join us in-game as well. We have a clan chat available for you. Clan chat, kill, skill, and chill. It's kill, skill, the letter N, chill, or clan.runeweek.com. If you want to check out our ongoing Rune Clan rankings and competition. We have an ongoing competition right now for the skill of the month being Constitution. And the winner will receive a cash prize. The top 3 places, I believe, will receive a cash prize. And the number 1 spot will get their own rubber turkeys. So you get to be a member of the clan to enter into that. So feel free. But you don't have to be a member of the clan to just hang out and chat. So feel free to do that in-game if you'd like to. That is an option for you. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have. We'll be back to do some more streaming. I think we're going to do some Slayer on Sunday, maybe some mini games. I have to kind of decide what I want to do about the Livid Farm, if it's worth it or not for me. I don't know. We'll see. But I may be going live again to do some Livid Farm if I decide to or not. But anyway, that's going to do it for this podcast. So I hope you've enjoyed, and happy scaping.